in the sky, gazing far into the night. I raise my hand to the fire, but it's no use, 'cause you can't stop it from shining through. It's true, baby, let the light shine through. If you believe it's true, baby, won't you let the light shine through for you, 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 for you. Won't you let the light shine through? In the sky, gazing far into the night. I raise my hand to the fire, but it's no use, 'cause you can't stop it from shining through. It's true, baby, let the light shine through. If you believe it's true, baby, won't you let the light shine through for you, for you.
What's up, everybody? Thank you guys for joining the live stream for RWBY Volume 5, Chapter 12. How's everybody doing? Welcome one, welcome all. We already have 600 people in here. Hey, what's up, Shane?
I just realized something from back in Volume 3.
Yo.
Cinder claimed to be from Mistral, which is comparable to real-world Asia. So, does that mean that Cinder is made in China?
That's really funny. That's pretty clever. Thank you for that, man. Welcome, everybody. How's everyone doing today? New voice? Josh, actually, no. We had this voice last week. I had the new bot voice. Justin is the new bot voice. We had him in, I had him in the last live stream was the first one that I had him in. But yeah. Oh, boy. This chapter was pretty interesting. Obviously a big plot reveal, a lot of answers, a lot of questions, 2 chapters left. One of the shortest chapters of the volume, but one of the most dense. Like, we got so much in the 12-minute runtime, taking out the intro and the outro. So much really happened. And this chapter, undoubtedly, I watched this chapter more than any other. Hey, what's up, J-Rock?
Real murder. Glad to be here as always.
Thank you for joining.
I've always wanted First Ono, and I'm never going to get it because of my poopy internet. Oh well, I'll try again next week. Can't wait to discuss today's smile.
Thank you, J-Rock. I appreciate that. Welcome back, bro. Another day, another discussion. Lexi Colin, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate it. But yeah, God damn, this chapter, I've watched this chapter more than any other chapter of the volume. I've watched this chapter no less than 15 times. And that is both, like, by choice watching it, and then, like, screen capping. I catch myself watching it, you know, when I'm supposed to be, like, screen capping the episode. That's why the discussion's an hour late, because I've been procrastinating today, because I'm just like, oh my gosh, that Hazel reveal is so cool, and oh my gosh, Ozpin's actually fighting, and the reveal at the end with Cinder, and Raven, and Vernal, like, it was so good, and I've watched this chapter I watched it so many times, it's ridiculous. Like, I remember the other night, a couple nights ago, actually, I was actively trying to go to bed, and I couldn't because I just watched the chapter like 3 times in a row. So, no, it wasn't a mad chapter. It was anything but, honestly. But thank you guys all for joining. I hope you guys had a great week, a great weekend as well. We have 2 chapters left for RWBY Volume 5. This upcoming weekend is chapter 13, and next weekend is holy shit.
Why does this new voice sound like an older Lil from Rugrats?
Holy shit, Jackson. Thank you so much. $100 donation. Why does the new voice sound low-key like older Lil, you said? From Rugrats? I don't know. I can't put someone said that the voice kind of reminds them of, what's his name? Salim from Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. So I feel like I can kind of hear that. I don't know. I just really like this voice. But holy shit, dude. Thank you so much for that generous donation. I really do appreciate it. Holy crap. Let's see. There's 800. So I don't think we'll ever. I don't know what was up. I don't know what was up. I don't know what was happening last weekend. But we managed to have 1,583 people in the. God damn it, Josh!
I don't have $100. May. Hazel is Bane. That's badass and all, but I felt his motivations were a bit underwhelming. I feel like a lover actually dying to Ozpin in battle or something would have helped more. Just saying. He's still a badass.
Yeah, we'll get into that. I kind of felt the same. I felt like his motivations were a little cliche.
Did you see the Cinder? What Cinder? The Cinderfall versus Raven at WWE Super Slam.
Oh my god. Alright. I'll allow that. Thank you very much for that $5 donation, but god damn it. The puns are already coming in hot today. So, last weekend we got 1,583 or 84 viewers, which I can't even fathom how that was able to happen. I know it was like the magnitude of the chapter, but...
RWBY joke number 1. Why side kidney but disappeared.
Oh gosh, I've heard the disappeared joke so many times now. Alright, I might have to turn off notifications after a certain while once we start, just because I want things to kind of flow in. But like I said, these are the first few minutes of allowing people to join.
I just realized during episode 12 that Vernal's eyes didn't lit up in episode 9, and since all maidens have same source, that was strange. And then I realized Raven has her helmet on during half the
I mean, everybody who came to the conclusion that everyone that came to the conclusion that Raven was actually the Spring Maiden basically had the same assumption. I think those were the context clues for a lot of people to come to that decision that it was actually Raven that was the Spring Maiden and not Vernal, even though they kind of threw a lot of that stuff at us in the first place, right? Like Vernal's in the intro. You know, her name's Vernal, which means spring. She's faced off against Cinder in the opening. So I feel like it was a classic catch-22. Hold on, give me a second here. I need to pull up something on my screen really quick before we start. Also, for all of you guys who are new in here, welcome to the stream. I do these discussions every week for RWBY. Typically every Thursday, but these last couple are going to be, every Tuesday typically, but these last few have been on Thursdays. And I think the finale discussion will also be on Thursday. That way it's at least an extra day for as many people as possible to be able to watch the chapter, be a part of the excitement. And I was trying to replicate what happened last week. I don't know how we reached 1,500 plus viewers at one point, but I was just like, maybe Thursdays are a better day. There was way more people on that Thursday, and that was the first time that I ever live streamed on a Thursday, if I'm not mistaken. So, I just felt like it, and from what a lot of people had told me, they were like, yeah, Thursday kind of works better for their schedule than Tuesday because it's, Tuesday's practically the beginning of the week, and people have school and work and stuff like that. So Thursdays were a lot better off for a lot of people. Just asking, but do you record your reactions first, then the discussion? Yeah, I mean, it would be weird if I didn't do it first.
Calm down.
But no,
You're not
hold
here
on.
for your money.
So do you think that Raven killed the previous Spring Maiden to gain the power?
Hold off on
a
that.
decade
I'm not going to
ago?
answer any questions just yet because, as the discussion goes in, we're going to get into a lot of those topics, but I will go back to that discussion. Lestat Zero, thank you very much for that. But hold on, give me 1 second. I'm trying to keep up with everything that's happening right now. Mailbig, thank you very much for the super chat. Valknir, I think that's how you say that. I hope you go through your Raven Spring Maiden theory in depth tonight. Thank you for doing this discussion. Thank you very much for joining. Appreciate the super chat, guys. Amber Rachel, Mentor Assassin, Curtis Snap. Curtis Snap. Is that how you say that? Nap. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I apologize. Hey Arnold, this had to be the most confusing, awesome, and surprising chapter yet, and I can't wait to hear your take on it. Jaune and Raven. Yeah, a lot of stuff happened. We're going to be getting into it. So, actually, holy shit, we have 1,000 people in here already. Holy crap. Thank you all for joining. The first thing that I do want to say is that the structure of this chapter is all over the place. Brandon!
Hey man, got today off so I can finally watch the...
Oh shit, welcome dude. Thank you so much for joining, man. Thank you for the donation, bud. How have you been? It's been a while. How have you been enjoying these last few chapters? I know we have 2 chapters left, but I kind of go through the discussions every week, but it's great to have you in here. Right at the very start, too. We haven't even started talking about the chapter yet. But, really quick, I just want to say, the structure of this chapter is going to be aligned differently than how I'm going to be talking about it, right? Because the chapter bounces all over the place from multiple perspectives, right? So the chapter starts off with, the immediate, shock value or shock factor of Weiss getting speared in the back from the previous chapter. Starts off like that, and then immediately transitions to Hazel and Ozpin, and then immediately transitions to Cinder, Raven, and Vernal going into the vault. And then it's a constant shift between Hazel fighting, Raven and Cinder in the elevator, RWBY waking up, having her perspective taken on, and, Jaune's semblance. So there's so many things going on.
You think the dust is your ally, but you merely adopted the dust. I was born in it.
Oh God, here we go. I was like, at first I was like, wait, what is he saying? I've never watched the Batman.
The dust has betrayed you because they belong to me.
What's the second one? I watched the Dark Knight. Oh, Dark Knight Rise. Wait, the Dark Knight I watched. Dark Knight Rises. I think that's the one with Bane. I've never seen that one, but I know a lot of people are talking about the Bane references of between Hazel and Bane. I actually found that out recently because I've never seen The Dark Knight Rises. I'm not a big DC Marvel fan. I'm not really a part of those universes in terms of the comics or the movies and stuff like that. So I actually found out about that reference through somebody else, so that's why I didn't get it initially. Also, for those of you guys who are following me over on my Twitch channel, I appreciate that. I'm getting the notifications on my screen.
Raven, Cinder and Vernal goes down the elevator to the vault.
Oh gosh, guys.
Okay, how will Raven backstab Cinder? Vernal dies. Me, no. Cinder doesn't get power.
Oh.
Me equals no freaking way.
Jesus. Alright, we're going to be starting soon, so I just want to preface by saying, if you're going to, I do appreciate, like, the memes and everything, and the jokes, and the puns and all that, but I do want to reserve, if anyone's going to make a text-to-speech donation, just have it something that's relevant to the discussion that we're having, because I don't want to constantly be getting distracted. I don't really want to turn off the notifications either, because last weekend I missed some people's donations and some people's comments, and I felt kind of bad about that, but I had to turn it off because I was constantly getting interrupted. So for the sake of the discussion, for the sake of staying on track, it's already 7:30 my time, so I kind of want to dedicate the next 3 hours or so to just straight up discussing the chapter, if you guys don't mind. Let's see. Let me get through a few of these really quick, and then I guess we can start, because I've been on for about 15 minutes now. Let's see. Hey, Arnold, I was wondering, how did you like the music in this volume? And what is your favorite OST? Are you hyped for the Volume 5 soundtrack? I wouldn't say that I'm hyped for the soundtrack. I feel like it's something that we've come to expect. Like, we get the soundtrack every volume. I feel like the hype is a little diminished because of the fact that we haven't gotten any songs throughout the volume, right? We got the three preview songs from the character shorts, the Weiss, Blake, and Yang character short. We obviously have the intro. We're most likely going to get a song in the credits of the finale, and then the rest of the songs are actually on the soundtrack. So I wouldn't say that I'm hyped, but I am still very much looking forward to hearing those songs in full, and more importantly, hearing songs that aren't featured in the show at all. Like in the intro, none of the songs that were featured in the character short or the credits, because I feel like those songs are the ones that really catch me off guard and I end up liking a lot. So, also, how's the audio, by the way? I didn't ask that initially. And I'm assuming it's fine, but I just want to make doubly sure that it's good on everybody's end. All right, it is good? All right, thank you guys very much. Appreciate it.
Calm down.
Oh boy, Maiden versus Maiden hype.
Most of the events in this chapter were obvious and predicted accurately. Hazel's motivations are cliché, but it was to show the Oscar understood what it means to be a hunter going forward. Raven being spring was cool. New STRQ passive impossibilities.
That is true. I personally, I didn't see Raven being the Spring Maiden. I know a lot of people in the fandom dug deep and came to those conclusions. I've been doing the discussions for weeks, and that actually caught me off guard. I actually heard about the theory last minute, so I was actually really surprised when I saw it.
Thanks.
Hey, thank you very much. I'm just gonna call you Cat for short because I don't want to butcher that name. Cat 101. For all of the hard work you do, thanks. Thank you very much. I really do appreciate it. I'm glad you guys enjoyed these discussions. We have 1,100 people in here already.
Calm down.
So
we're not here for your money.
I'm gonna try to keep my composure and keep things together.
Surrender to my line from Overwatch over the scene of Cinder sucking the life out of Vernal. Also, it'd be hella cool if Blizzard gave Moira a Cinder-themed skin. Plus, could you imagine? I'm
not into Overwatch, so I don't know who Moira is. I know about her being a champion in or a hero in Overwatch, but I don't know what the hell she does. I haven't played Overwatch in like a year. So, I'm gonna read a few of these super chats and then we're gonna jump. Okay. So really quick, like I said, so the chapter jumps all over the place. So what I'm gonna do instead for my discussions is I'm gonna focus on one overall concept within the show as a whole, get it out of the way, and then move on to the next one. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is Jaune, Weiss, his semblance, because that's how the opening, that's how that's how it basically started. He ran over to Weiss, applied pressure, and we kept bouncing back and forth. But I think I'm going to go into talking about topics in the chronological order where they were first shown. So I'm going to talk about Jaune's semblance first, then I'm going to talk about Hazel.
Calm down.
Then I'm going to talk about the vault.
Here for your money.
I'm going to talk about a bunch of different things in that regard. I finally will be able to watch the live stream in full tonight. Hey, what's up, Caleb? Welcome, dude. Thank you for joining, man. Glad you're able to join for one of these nights. Again, I feel like it's because I shifted from Tuesday nights to Thursday nights. So I do appreciate that. Thank you very much, man. All right, I'm going to get through the last few of these super chat donations, and then we're going to start the discussion. I appreciate if you guys just hold off on any text-to-speech donations. I don't want to have to turn notifications off if it gets out of hand. But at the same time, I still want to be able to read your comments and respond to you guys accordingly. So, Josef Germany. Yo, Arnold. Okay, I answered that one. The soundtrack. Looking forward to it overall. Not quote-unquote as hyped because we haven't really gotten anything to leave us off with. And God knows when we're going to get the soundtrack. We'll probably get it towards the end of spring, beginning of summer. Based on how distribution was last year. Amber Rachel, thank you very much. I thank you so much for making my day so much brighter. I do. Thank you. Well, first off, I'm glad you guys like listening to me ramble for hours and hours on end on a weekly basis. Unfortunately, those are going to be coming to an end in the next couple of weeks as Volume 5 wraps up. But of course, I'm still going to be doing these again when Volume 6 hits, when Volume 6 comes around. I'm probably going to do a live stream discussion when the soundtrack drops like I did last year. A lot of people enjoyed that as well. I'm going to be getting back to Red vs. Blue on the channel when RWBY ends. I'm going to take a little bit of a break just to kind of reevaluate what I'm actually going to be focusing on in terms of content on the channel. Also going to be streaming a lot on Twitch just because I'm going to have so much free time. Like, RWBY's going to free up so much time for me to focus and do other things and shift the content, since RWBY isn't going to be back around until the holidays, until like the fall season and whatnot. Am I the only one who adored the effect of Jaune's semblance? Weiss looked like she... Weiss looked like she was underwater. It was so cool. Oh, you mean like the glowy aura effect? I mean, I feel like that's pretty... I mean, it's like the elevation of what it looked like in previous volumes. But it kind of just radiated at that point. Hylian Legends, or Hylian Legends. Hi, Arnold. I've been lurking for a while, and I just wanted to send you this. By the way, one thing I noticed in the intro is the line, "We will endure,"
hey, bro.
is said. It zooms
Sorry,
on
I'm
Weiss.
late. Hope all
It was
is
a
well.
hard last
Weiss
episode.
is alive.
Oh my
That's
gosh.
you.
Bunch of things happening. Sorry I'm late. Weiss is alive. Party woo. Thank you very much for that. And Hylian Legend, I'm glad you enjoy the content. Thankfully, hopefully, Weiss doesn't have any more altercations throughout the show. Just for my heart and everybody else's too. Was anyone ever questioning why Nora didn't volunteer to take on Hazel and have... considering her semblance... I feel like it's not really Nora's place to take point, right? She's not even the team leader, so I don't really see much issue in that. And they're still doing fights, so chances are they can probably... Like, it seems like they're coordinating now, right? Like, Weiss, is going to be better. Ren is actually going to be helping Oscar. Nora's going to be protecting Jaune and Weiss. RWBY and Yang are going to be going up against Emerald and Mercury. So
calm down.
That is very
I'm not
much
here for your
possible.
money.
Hey!
Hope I'm not too late. Looking forward to this
No,
discussion.
you're not late. You are not late. We're
_K.
dedicating the first few minutes, well, at this point, 20 minutes, to people joining, Ari. Thank you very much for joining. I appreciate it. The producer said that they already saw Jaune's semblance in earlier volumes, but I don't remember anything significant. Do you? Olivia4490. So I'm actually going to address that right as we get into the discussion. So first off, I'm going to be shifting over. Thank you guys all for joining. We have 1,200 people in here, and we're... I can't believe there's so many of you guys in here. Holy crap. Thank you guys for joining. Appreciate the support. We're going to be jumping into this now. Like I said, things are going to be shifty a little bit in terms of how we're going to be discussing and
Dude,
to what
you have
extent.
no idea how hyped I am for your reaction, and I was dying for this discussion as well.
Yeah, oh my gosh, it was so hyped. Like, when the chapter started, I wasn't excited, I wasn't hyped, I was like, Weiss better be okay. Like, for like the first 5 minutes of my video, I was just like, nothing matters until I find out if Weiss is gonna be alright or not. And then after she was fine, after Jaune busted out his semblance, after 4.5 years, it just went like from 0 to 100 in like a matter of seconds. So I was really excited for the chapter overall. I have to edit my reaction tonight, and it should be up. It'll be up this weekend also, so you guys will be able to see it. But anyways, oh, another thing. I'm going to be off screen for most of the time, so you guys will hear my voice, but because there's a lot of screen caps to get through and a lot of aspects of discussion that I want to cover, there's going to be multiple images on the screen, so more than not, for the most part. I'm going to be off screen, but kind of take it as a podcast, you know what I mean? Like, if you're actually watching your screen, you know, flip on something or play a game while you're listening to me in your headphones or something like that, just so it's a little bit more entertaining, I guess I would say, if you guys don't do that already. So, first thing I'm going to do, because someone in the chat reminded me, actually, a bunch of people are reminding me now, I got to put slow chat on. So if this is your first time in the stream, slow chat, what that basically does is it slows down the flow of comments, so I can read everybody's.
Just got here, brew. It's been 3 volumes since Rooster Teeth hinted at fusing dust into the body and only just showed it to us the method. Is it exactly what you expected it to be like? I never really thought dust would make you ripped, but hey, that's me.
I didn't really have expectations for it. Last weekend, actually, we talked about dust in the discussion, and I talked about it in my Discord, and I was like, why have that, like, I remember I was like, we were talking about dust, and then we were talking about, like, the Volume 2, World of Remnant, the first one that they came out with dust, and they mentioned back in 2014, they were like, yeah, you can weave dust into clothing, you can fuse it with yourself, and I'm like, we saw the dust weaving in Volume 2, and they mentioned all these other aspects of how you can use dust, but they never mentioned, they never, like, referenced back to fusing it with your body until now, and I think it's great that they did it with Hazel more than anything, but with all that said, I will hold off on that because, again, that's going to be a topic of the overall conversation of the discussion. But thank you guys for joining. Ruby Moon Rose, hey Arnold, just made it. Oh my god, plot twist. James Kent, slightly disappointed that Jaune's semblance is a healing one and not combat oriented, but at the same time, I'm rather happy and find it fitting as well.
Calm down.
Well, I mean, he is the team leader, so he's not really the star of the show.
Arms away to check the wound. Any ideas? Felt pretty weird and Casey needs contact to heal.
Okay, we're gonna start.
I just want your opinion on it. Love the streams.
I do apologize. I am just trying to make sure everything goes off really well. Zach Penichi? I'm just gonna call you Zach P. Thank you for the super chat, $5 super chat. Love Ruby, love your reactions. You're the best. Thank you guys very much. All right, so now I'm gonna actually have to turn off the discussions because I can't get a word out. I still will have them here. If I can't get through them during the discussion, I will go back at the end of the discussion and go through all of them, read off your questions and comments, and just overall make sure that everyone gets answered. Just because I feel like I'm not going to be able to get a word out in terms of a discussion. So I hope you guys enjoy, and let us begin. All right, I got to go all the way down here. 1, 2, 3, boom. Okay. So we finally saw Jaune's semblance after volume 1, 2, 3, 4, almost 5 volumes, right? We're on the cusp of the end of volume 5, and it's been hinted at. He awoke in his aura in volume 1. Pyrrha was helping him learn his semblance and discovering his semblance as early as volume 1 into volume 2, where she referenced, talking about aura. He's been training with Ozpin and company and, Team Ranger and company in volume 5. And we finally got to see it. Now, the first thing that I'm going to say to this is, before anybody says that it's polarity, because I know Unique Namosaurus, I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys have seen his RWBY theory regarding Jaune's semblance and regarding his theory that it could possibly have been polarity similar to Pyrrha's. Very compelling, especially how he paced the whole theory. It was like a 2.5 minute theory, but a lot of people, it gravitated with a lot of people. A lot of people took that for what it was worth, and I was really surprised by that because every person that was like, Jaune's semblance is polarity, I was like, oh, well, we all know you saw the video. So, but I'm not, I feel like a lot of people aren't surprised that it's healing, even not at this point, right? Because there's a lot of things that you can take, there's a lot of points of reference that you can go back to when you look at Jaune's semblance as a whole, right? The fact that Pyrrha mentioned that he has a lot of aura. What that meant necessarily, we don't know, because aura isn't necessarily quantifiable. Like, you can't really quantify aura. And if you want to say, okay, well, the Vital Festival tournament quantifies your aura and, out of points, it's like, well, then if Jaune has a lot of aura, then naturally his point, like, if you have, the Vital Festival had, like, out of 100 points of your aura reserve, his must exceed that then. Either that or it makes up for it in terms of his endurance, of how much damage he can actually take. And he's also been known to be thrown and banged around a lot in the show. His wounds automatically healed when he got cut by the branch in Volume 1. So this all could have very well been early references and, foreshadowing that it was actually going to be healing. And the thing is, too, we don't know if this is actually healing. Is he healing her, or is he using his aura to amplify her aura's health regeneration, basically? Because we know that aura works like a, it allows you to deflect harm and gradually heal your wounds based on what Ren said earlier this volume. So, I mean, it could be either or. And also in RWBY Grimm Eclipse, he doesn't heal his teammates, but he buffs his teammates. So I feel like in a way that's kind of the closest thing that you can have. Maybe his aura, maybe his semblance can evolve to not just heal people, but also increase the damage that they put out, or strengthen their aura as well, like be an enhancer to his team, not necessarily a support. So a lot of those aspects are really, really interesting, and I'm just wondering what you guys might think about that in the comments as well. Yeah, we have 1,300 people in here. Holy crap. Thank you guys all for joining. I really do appreciate it. Yeah. Let's see. I think it's called, it's like aura transfer, element of him willing to sacrifice himself for others. Yeah, see that, and that's the thing too, like, that would be the closest thing that correlates to Jaune's personality, right? Like, that is Jaune's personality. He's selfless. He even said it to Cinder. He was like, if I die, saving them time, it's worth it. They're the ones that matter. That's just an act of selflessness. Jaune might be jaded, Jaune might be cynical to the world and what's happened to him and his friends and whatnot, but at the end of the day, he always puts his teammates and his friends before him, and I think if that's another thing too, like, right, if he's depleting his aura for the sake of another friend's, then I think that just correlates really well with his personality, which sometimes correlates with, person to person, like their semblances match their personality. So, alright, back in Volume 1, Jaune rapidly healed himself from Cardin beating him, which is probably the first clue of his semblance. Also, he seems to force his aura onto Weiss, which caused her to rapidly heal, so having a lot of aura is to his benefit. Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, a lot of people, like, again, we don't know the intricacies of it, but I do think it's more so he's accelerating her aura regen by using his aura, like, giving her, like, his extra aura reserves. I don't know if that's a negative, right? Like, will his aura always be that much in reserve? Is it a finite amount? Does it regenerate over time for him as well? There's just a lot of things that you can kind of take into that and break it, and in terms of how you want to break it down, in terms of how you want to look at it overall. Let's see, Shane Miller. So Jaune is basically Mercy now. Yeah, so I've already seen a shit ton of Mercy memes when it comes to Jaune. I personally have something for my TLDR review for after RWBY's done, where I want Weiss to basically say, I'm healing, like in Genji's voice. I'm sorry, I need healing in Genji's voice, and then and then Jaune's basically the combat Ziegler and goes to heal her. So I think that's gonna be pretty cool. One thing that I'm also wondering too is how this is gonna be relevant in the future, because I feel like it's almost too much of a coincidence that at the exact point in time where a friend is on death's doorsteps, does his semblance awaken. And I can see it working now, but I'm wondering how that's going to be effective in the future. Same thing with Ren, right? Like, Ren's semblance was only relevant for the sake of the flashback and for the sake of the Knucklevi Grimm fight. And obviously there's no Grimm around, so his aura is pretty useless. But I'm wondering how that's actually going to apply in the future, if we're actually going to see Jaune healing actively mid-combat. Because we've never really seen... Again, like, I feel like the only way that Jaune would be relevant is when someone's aura is broken. Because when someone's aura is broken, everybody, like, loses their shit because that person's now, capable of actually being mortally wounded. So, it could work out both ways. Also, the fact that he awoken his aura now, I feel like it's because he was in this exact situation for it. And what I mean by that is, right, Ren's aura activated in a way that kind of complements his semblance, right? Like, Ren had to reach a state of emotional stress for his aura to activate, because his aura keeps that in check. I'm sorry, his semblance keeps that in check. So Ren's semblance allows you to mask your emotions, and at that point in time when he awoken it, that's why he did it, because he needed it at that time. Jaune has never needed to heal somebody. He's never needed to protect someone like he has now with Weiss. So I feel like the situation where he awakened it was just as important. I mean, Nora got struck by lightning, and it's like, yeah, this is a perfect time for you to unlock your semblance, because if not, you're gonna die. And Ruby's was the only random one where she said, you know, hers kicked in during training one day, which a lot of people think that her semblance was actually when she was fighting Yang. Like, she was fighting fisticuffs, and she, like, moved out of the, like, she, like, zipped out of the way, and then, you know, that's why she got knocked out, because she, like, banged into some branches or some trees or whatever, or some bushes. So I feel like it's also the fact that it's almost like the Super Saiyan state, right? From Dragon Ball, like the Dragon Ball Z series. The state of Super Saiyan is only achieved in an act where you need it, not where you want it. It comes to you in response of a need, not a desire. So Jaune needed to awaken his semblance in order to save Weiss. Ren needed to awaken his semblance in order to mask his emotions so he didn't die. Nora needed to unlock her semblance so she didn't get struck by lightning and get killed. You know what I mean? So I think that's kind of stretching a little bit, but at the same time, everybody's semblance doesn't unlock from intense stress like the Sharingan, for example, like from Naruto. That kind of happens when you lose someone that you really love, and it takes a deep emotional strain on the, you know, on your body, on your psyche, on, you know, on everything about you. So I feel like it was very in your face. Like, I feel like everybody and their mother realized and knew. It was basically, you either thought his semblance was polarity, or you actually realized that his semblance was going to be healing. It was just clear as day. And I don't think you needed to get to Weiss getting, you know, speared in the back for you to realize that. So, also, I just saw somebody in the chat say something about spoilers. This is a discussion about the latest chapter, so spoilers are very much welcome here. If you are getting spoiled, you shouldn't be here. You can watch the episode on Rooster Teeth's site right now if you're a free member or a first member or a double gold member, whatever the hell the case might be, to officially support the show and support the creators who make it. So yeah, I think that's all. I'll leave it. I'll just leave it off at that, because I mean, this is par for the course. We do this every week. All right, so let me read some comments here. Honestly, we could have seen his semblance coming from Volume 1. Jaune healed from the cut from the. I think that's why Rooster Teeth said we saw his semblance, right? It wasn't actively being. That doesn't make sense though, right? And I know what you guys are talking about, because I've seen. Hold on, I feel like I can come back on screen here, because I don't think we need to see Weiss and thing. So I know what a lot of people in the comments are talking about. They're talking about. It was back in, I think, 2014 or 2015, where it was during Volume 2, I believe, where somebody on the RWBY Facebook group or on the Rooster Teeth account responded to a fan that said, hey, when are we going to see Jaune's semblance? And they said, you already have. And that's why Unique Namosaurus came out with the video. It's like, oh, technically we've seen Jaune's semblance. It's polarity. That doesn't mean we've seen it from him. But obviously that's not true, because every wielder's semblance is different, unless, of course, you're a Schnee, which it's hereditary, so that's the exception, at least right now. But I wonder, it conflicts, and I'm willing to give it a pass, because during Volume 1, Volume 2, Rooster Teeth really didn't know what the hell they're doing. Some people will argue and say they still don't know what they're doing, but albeit from that, the fact is, like, the show was growing with them along the way. Like, they were learning their characters, they were learning how to bring their characters to life. A lot of them were learning voice acting for the first time. They're building this world. And I could easily understand if they slipped up and said that at that time, or if things got changed around, or, you know, whatever the case might be. Because it doesn't make sense to say, we've seen his semblance in Volume 1, but then in Volume 5 say, you know, Ozpin says, you've improved, Mr. Arc, but I'm afraid you've still yet to unlock your semblance. So I'm willing to say that during that time, they were probably talking about his aura, because they say that also in the volume 1 commentary when Cardin punches Jaune, and they say in the commentary that's the first hint of a semblance, even though that's his aura activating at that time. So, like I said, I'm willing to give it a pass because they themselves at that time were still very new to building these characters and building this world and actually fleshing out a lot of these concepts within the show. And it wouldn't make sense to say in Volume 2 we saw his semblance, but then in Volume 5 say that we haven't seen his semblance, but then when we see it, it doesn't equate, right? Because Ren also says, he's like, aura does that. Aura self-heals your wounds. So in Volume 1, that wouldn't have been his semblance. That would have just been his aura doing what it usually does. It gradually heals your wounds. However, his instantaneously did it through the overuse of his, due to having a lot of aura. So I'm willing to kind of slice and dice it in that regard. Like, it's loosely based on his semblance, but that wasn't necessarily his semblance. So, long story short, Jaune's the healer. I love him even more because I'm personally like video games that have role-specific, role-specific positions like Overwatch or League of Legends or Battle Right, which I recently started playing, and it's a really hard game. I'm a support main. I play Thresh, Tom Kench, and Thresh and Tom Kench are probably the only 2 champions that I really play in League. They're tank supports. I used to play Jaune exclusively when I first started playing League, and she's more of a utility support champion like Jaune. She heals, she buffs, she has CC, she slows. So I personally, I resonate a lot more with Jaune because he's the leader of his team, he's the strategist of his team, and he's also the healer of his team. He is the team's sustain. He's what keeps his team in the fight now. He's the one that is the shot caller, the playmaker. He's the one that's like, Pyrrha, up, Nora, do this, Ren, do that. Like, he's the shot caller. He's the one that assesses the situation. But I feel like now they're almost giving Jaune too much. They're giving him too much to deal with because RWBY's the team leader, and she doesn't have nearly as much, they don't express nearly as much in terms of her leadership skills compared to Jaune's, right? And I feel like that's because Jaune, wherever Jaune is lacking, which is mainly in his combat, his team makes up for it. So he makes up with it with his brains, and I think him having a semblance that heals is even better because it allows him to. He's basically the most crucial part of his team. If your healer dies, you're fucked. Especially if you guys can't keep yourself in the fight. Nora's kind of a glass cannon, but it's only when lightning is around that she's actually a threat. Ren's pretty much useless in the grand scheme of things because I think he has the least amount of stamina on the team as a whole, and they're a teammate down basically. So a lot's not going for them as as Team Juniper unless somebody else basically takes over that spot or whatever. But yeah, he's a tactician, he's a strategist, he's a healer, he's the leader, he's the shot caller, he's the playmaker. And I think this is actually just going to work even more in his favor because he's also been practicing off screen. We saw at the end of volume 4, he's actually training. His attacks hit a lot harder. We just haven't really seen any of that come to fruition other than the Knuckle fight. And against humans, he's going to get his teeth kicked in, especially going up against someone like Cinder. So, Arnold, are you a White Knight shipper? Is that what is that? Jaune and Weiss, I think that is. I'm not really a shipper in general, so I don't really. It's whatever. I like the shipping. I think they're pretty creative, interesting. Me and my friends were actually reading the RWBY shipping spreadsheet, and some of them are so like I think it's Tyrion and Coco is cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Like, the names alone are absolutely hilarious. What other one? I think it was Yang, Mercury. Oh, I can't remember it, actually. Never mind, before I screw it up. Like, some of them are so hilarious. So I appreciate the names. I appreciate the creative take on a lot of the ships, but In terms of shipping, I could care less who ends up with who by the end of the show. Unless it's more so visually represented, like within the show itself. Like if we actually see character A being interested in character B beyond just being friends, that's understandable, but I feel like you're in the middle of a war, you're trying to fight off evildoers and people that are trying to destroy the world or take over the world or whatever the hell the case might be, bring chaos and ruin and damnation and destruction for everybody. That's really the last thing I care about is a relationship right now. So yeah, at the end of the day, those are just my overall thoughts. But yeah, Jaune upgraded now. Weiss is going to be okay. I don't know if she's going to be awake in the next couple of chapters, because it seems like right now she's kind of stabilizing. She's she's trying to, get back on her feet and whatnot. So I don't necessarily know if there's really going to be anything that Weiss is going to be contributing for the rest of the volume. That's just me. Like the story of Joan of Arc, I'm glad that Jaune is now being seen as a selfless and compassionate fighter. He's a genuine knight. Oh boy. I'm just really happy that nothing bad happened between him and Cinder, because I remember last week I mentioned, like, Joan of Arc was burned at the stake, Cinder uses fire, she had a fire sword out, she went against Jaune went against her, and I swear to God, if it wasn't for Ruby's silver eyes, he would have died. I wouldn't even second guess it that he would have been killed by her. In that, I don't know. It's just a feeling, and I feel like that is also a callback to his Joan of Arc references. So, thank God for Deus Ex Machina. Thank God for Silver Eyes. Thank God for RWBY. It sucks that it was super short-lived, especially since we haven't seen it in like almost literally two volumes. So, hopefully, it's expressed a little bit more. Hopefully it's tapped into a little bit more. Hopefully it's also not at the cost of another one of her teammates being in the line of fire, for being on the chopping block, because the first time she used it was against, Cinder to Pyrrha, because Pyrrha had died, and she used it, in response to Jaune because he was going to die. So I really hope it's not just based on, like, stress. It's basically kind of like the Sharingan at this point, which I literally was just talking about that with Jaune's semblance. She literally has the RWBY's version of the Sharingan that's not quite there yet in terms of being able to use it whenever. Where is Neo? Your guess is as good as mine right now. I'll tell you where Neo is. I'll tell you what Neo is. She's irrelevant right now. Just joined. Did we discuss the Oscar fight yet? No, we actually are just talking about Jaune's semblance as a whole. Another thing, before we move on from Jaune's semblance, I mentioned it in the reaction, and I know some people that are actually a little bit peeved by it. There are some people that see it as kind of like, what the hell? Which was when RWBY woke up, and she runs over, she's like, what's going on? What's happening? What's wrong with Weiss? And she takes Jaune's hands off of Weiss, and she's like, don't stop doing what you're doing, even though I just stopped you from doing what you're doing, contradicting what I just told you to do. And I'm like, RWBY, what the hell did I just, like, what? I don't know. I looked at that and I was just like, yeah, that doesn't really make much sense, especially since Jaune doesn't know what the hell he's doing. He just has his hands over Weiss, like, I don't know. It was one of those things that you couldn't unnotice it. And I was just like, well, you just stopped him from doing what he was doing. I don't know. I have no idea what the heck that was all about, but it was worth mentioning at least. She was like, don't touch my waifu. Yeah. RWBY was jealous. Oh God, guys. Jaune seems a lot like a D&D paladin. Maybe he will get more power than just healing, some kind of smite. I'm wondering that too, right? It's like, what can a healer do besides heal, right? Like, I at the very least, I can see him giving his teammates, like, an overshield, right? Like, giving them an over reserve of aura. So it's like, your aura is at 100%, I'm gonna throw another 50 aura at you so you have, like, an extra overshield to your already complete aura. So, I can picture him giving them, like, a shield and healing them, but it's like Jaune, unless you're just gonna heal them for more, but there's no quantifiable way of being able to tell how much did you heal this person for, how much did you heal that person for, because there's no numbers. There's literally no numbers in RWBY, and I think that's their way of kind of keeping things as vague as possible, especially when it comes to like a timeline or callbacks and references. Like, there's no numbers in this show. So, besides Aura, which is very vague when it comes to the Vital Festival tournament. So, I don't know. It's very ambiguous right now in terms of what Jaune's semblance... Like, we're only just seeing it now, so we need a lot more time before we see any evolution to the semblance as a whole. So, yeah. And, oh my... There's 1,472 people in here. We are less than 100 people from surpassing where we were at last weekend. So I'm actually kind of hyped. I'm hoping we can get that. We're only in this for about 50 minutes. So I'm actually really stoked for that. But thank you guys all for joining. I really hope you guys enjoyed the discussion so far. I'm going to get through a few of these comments really quick. Jaune, use both palms on both wounds. I know this is a combat... I know that a combat school would teach basic... Oh, I'm sorry. I know that a combat school would teach basic combat medicine. Well, see, that's the thing, too. I really wish we explored a little bit more of Beacon in terms of, like, what do they teach at this school, right? Like, they teach history because you got Uplek. They teach history to an extent, too, because you got Port. Unless Port teaches, like, Beacon's version of, like, defense against the dark arts, which it's defense against Grimm, because he's got, like, all of those illustrations of Grimm on his desk. He talks about how he fights Grimm all the time. He's got, like, those mounts and stuff like that, like those taxidermy, cheap imitation mounts of Grimm. So I think he teaches, like, Grimm defense. Uplek teaches, world history, but it's like, what other, I'd like that to have been like what did Professor Peach teach, and what does Tai Yang teach, and what did Crow teach, and Ozpin's a professor, does he teach a class too? Galinda, you know what I mean? Like, I kind of see Galinda as, like, the Professor McGonagall, and I see Ozpin as, like, the Dumbledore, and even those teachers taught classes at Hogwarts, so, I don't know, I really wish that there would have been a little bit more expression of, like, what is being taught at all of these schools, besides just, you fight Grimm. Obviously, you need to learn how to protect yourself, you need to know how to tap into your semblance, you need to learn how, obviously, Port also manages, weapon management. Shebby, thank you as well for the resub on Twitch, 2 months in a row. If you are in here, I really do appreciate it. Thank you very much. Let's see. Discussions officially moved to Thursday. I think at this point, yes, for this week's chapter, next week's, and the finale. The numbers just match up a lot better. Like, more people are able to join these discussions on Thursday than on the Tuesday discussions. I've been getting anywhere from like 600 to 700 viewers, but tonight and last weekend we broke 1,500. Last week when we broke 1,500, we're on our way to breaking 1,500 tonight. So I think these last couple of discussions, and maybe even future discussions, will be on Thursday, unless, numbers change or in case, viewership fluctuates. But it seems like this works a lot more for the majority of people than anything else. So we will have to wait and see. Well, we know that Glinda taught the sparring class. Well, I don't think that was a class necessarily. I personally do think that was just a like practicing a sparring for the upcoming tournament that was happening. So, anyways, that is Jaune's the aspect of Jaune's the aspect of Jaune in the show as a whole, with his semblance and kind of foreshadowing and just looking at it as a whole in terms of the concept of healing and everything like that. It's been 4.5 years in the making. It sucks too, because it's like, damn, your teammate would have loved that semblance. Like, if you had awoken that when you could have saved your teammate, you could have saved your girlfriend. And I know a lot of people have already been making that joke, but it's like, god damn it, like, that healing would have come in so handy. Volume's back, right? You could have healed Crow's wounds. You could have healed Pyrrha. I mean, I don't know. It's convenient for sure, but it is what it is. Moving on from that, Oh my god, let's talk about this. I think this is gonna be like the meat of the discussion, right? So, we were there's a theme going on right now, guys. So, Volume 1 was the first hint of Jaune's semblance, right? His aura, his semblance, all that jazz. And Volume 2 was the first hints at archaic forms of dust manipulation. We even get into clothing. We've seen that. We've seen dust be used in terms of used as ammunition. We've seen it being used in its raw form, like with Cinder in the canisters. And this is the first time that we're actually seeing dust being injected. And what better person than Hazel? I don't know. There's a lot of mystery behind Hazel. It's like, he's very diplomatic. He doesn't like fighting people. He has no weapons, at least weapons that we can see. He's very quiet. He's reserved. He keeps to himself. He's on the bad team. I don't think he's a bad person, but he also has history with Ozpin. And it's like all of these things just manifested into this episode. Like, we got all of that in this episode. So there's a lot to talk about with Hazel. And I will read some of these comments really quick. Fairy tale reference. Oh, yeah. Also, really quick, before I forget, Hazel is, it seems like Hazel's inspiration, his fairy tale reference, harkens back from Hansel and Gretel, because Ozpin mentioned, going into a little bit of Hazel's backstory right now, the reason why Hazel has it out for Oz is because despite Hazel being against it, his little sister, or I don't know if it's his little sister, but his sister Gretchen Reinhardt, she applied at Beacon Academy to become a huntress. She died on a training mission, and Hazel holds Ozpin, the headmaster, responsible. And if you look at their names, Hazel and Gretchen, that is a parallel to Hansel and Gretel. So he's an inspiration of Hansel from Hansel and Gretel, his sister being Gretel, him being Hansel. So I really did like that. I thought that was really, really neat. A lot of people had a lot of different, some people thought that he was one of the wolves from Odin's storyline from Norse mythology, which I was willing to believe that. I was like, this guy has to transform. He basically transforms, but he turns into Bane. He doesn't turn into a werewolf. He ate lots of candy and got real thick. What up, Kim? How you doing? Thanks for joining. Oh my god, the Bane theory is bad. Yeah, so he's a combination of Bane and Broly, because all he does in this episode is scream Ozpin's name. He's like Ozpin, and then he screams it again, and then he's like yelling his name, and it reminds me of Broly, how he yells Kakarot's name the entire time. Like, the guy doesn't even speak English, he just speaks Kakarot. And it reminded me of that. Also, like I told you guys, I'm not into like any DC Marvel universes, so I don't know about Bane. I actually heard about it from a friend. Apparently, Bane does the same thing that Hazel does, but he injects venom, if I'm not mistaken. That's what it's called, I think. He injects venom, gets juiced up, becomes this big boy, and a lot of people compare that to Hazel, which he basically does the same thing, but with dust. So I'm wondering if dust is actually utilized as a drug in the show too. Like, are there people who get high off of dust? And I don't mean that in the traditional sense, because obviously dust in RWBY is, it's nature incarnate. So I'm very intrigued by all of that. Fun fact, Hazel's model scales up quite a bit when he injects dust. Yeah, I know. First off, he looks like he's been hitting he just gets swole basically. But yeah, that's definitely noticeable, because his upper body is like twice the size of his lower body after the dust. And then he's got like the crystals is like protruding out of his skin, which is kind of gross. He's like veiny out of it, like he's got like his veins are like bulging out of his arms. So he gets pretty swole. But yeah, so the first instance that we've ever heard of dust manipulation where it actually becomes a part of the person is in the World of Remnant regarding dust in Volume 1. I believe Salem was the one who narrated the World of Remnants in Volume 1. And when she talks about dust, she basically says that There's a lot of forms of dust manipulation, such as weaving it into clothing and even fusing it directly with your own body. But she also mentions that some people prefer to use dust in its raw form, elegant yet destructive. People who choose, and I'm trying to paraphrase it here, people who choose to wield dust in this form must have a certain level of discipline to ensure that their resulting powers don't break free from their control. And I think that in of itself is perfect. I couldn't picture anybody else wielding dust the way Hazel does other than Hazel. This guy has an incredible level of discipline. He doesn't bicker at anybody. He doesn't cause feuds like Cinder and Watts do. He doesn't mindlessly kill people like Adam or Cinder does. He doesn't fight random people that he has no issues with, right? He doesn't want needless death. He has one person that he's out for, and that's it. And that takes a lot of discipline, because it shows in this episode that Hazel carries a lot of burden. He carries a lot of hate, a lot of pain, a lot of suffering, and he's disciplined enough to know that, hey, I have all of these issues going on, and I'm not gonna lash out at X, Y, and Z person who crosses my path. I'm gonna target one person, the person who's the source of all of that pain and suffering, and that's it. And I think that plays a lot into why Hazel's able to keep himself, like, that's why he uses dust. Again, I think that's really good. I think it's really great how, again, the discipline factor. Hazel's been very mysterious, very quiet, and we don't really know that much about him, and I think that plays into his persona as well. Unfortunately, though, the second he sees Ozpin, he loses his shit. So it's like, I don't know. It's like a double-edged sword, because I feel like now that he's face-to-face with the source of all of his anguish, now that he's face-to-face with Oz, it's very unlikely that he will have that same cool, calm, and collective mentality that he's had the entire show. And it kind of breaks his character down a little bit. I have to admit, I was a little disappointed with his motives. Right, I felt that they were very anime cliche. Like, no bullshit. It reminded me of like the Sasuke, Uchiha kind of thing. It's like, you killed, or like Inigo Montoya. It's like, you killed my father. Prepare to die. It's like, you killed someone that I cared about, so I'm gonna exact revenge. And let's talk about that too. I'm gonna come back on screen, because I went on a rant in my Discord about this last weekend. Hold on a second. I'm gonna read the chat really quick before I jump into this. So I worked on the part of the Hazel versus Oscar fight. Hazel's arms are as large as Oscar's entire torso. It is a really interesting aspect of the fight. The size matters. Yeah, and Oscar is a fucking moron for thinking that he could fight Hazel, especially when he gets juiced up like that. I'm like, okay, I'm getting off track. So oh shit, I just lost my train of thought. Hold on. Alright, hold on. I was talking about damn it, this is what happens when your mind goes like a million miles an hour and you can't catch it. Okay, so I was talking about his motivations and reminded me of Inigo Montoya. God damn it, Discord rant. See, like, that's the thing now. Now I can't remember what Discord rant I was having. God damn it! Shit, hold on a second. I'm trying to think now. Because it kind of went down a rabbit hole that night, and I remembered it just now. No, not Oscar fighting on his own. Shit. Alright, I hit a brain fart, guys. Give me a second. I'm gonna try to think back on what I was gonna say. Alright, so Hazel. Damn it, I hit a brain fart. God damn. Anime cliche. I don't think, and unless someone else is also thinking on the same, I wish I had said something. Ozpin taking over. I'll come back to it. But, God damn, and I'm like one of those people too, like, once I start thinking about it, I can't think about anything else until I get it. Notes, man, you need some notes. Well, that's the thing too, like, everything just, I just let everything out. That's really all I do. I just let everything out. Hazel's motivation. Okay, so I was basically talking about Hazel's motivations. I felt that they were really weak because it's kind of the generic anime revenge factor. And, shit, I really can't remember what I was going to say. And now, hold on, let me see if any other... Oh, okay, so, well, first off, his concept looks pretty awesome. He literally looks like... I don't know if he looks like a Teen Titans villain in this shot. More than anything. Yeah, some people were saying he was the Hulk, too. So I thought that was pretty cool. And that's basic. This is dubbed Dust Hazel. So I don't really know if it's if that's like a transformation. Like, it's basically a transformation, but it's like its own title because it's like, well, this is clearly not regular Hazel because he's juiced out of his mind and he's got dust in his veins and all that shit. So all right, let's see. Hazel, Hulk Hazel. Yeah, pretty much. Like, no bullshit, guys. I'm really trying to remember what I was going to say. It had to do with Hazel. Ah, jeez. This, I hate myself right now. I, like, hate when I get like this because I literally just lose my train of thought. Oh, I remembered. Oh my god, yes. Okay. So, I'm so fucking happy I remembered just now. Because I mentioned it, like, very briefly. It has to do with Grimm. So, if I ever mess up again, just remind me it has to do with Grimm. Oh, thank god. Like, that's my curse right there. Like, if I forget something, I cannot progress until I remember what it is that I forgot. It's like, I'm like Neville, right? Like, you give me a remember all, and it's like, I know I'm forgetting something, but I don't remember what I forgot. So it kind of just adds more, it just adds on to the stress of forgetting whatever it was. Okay, so, first off, I realized something. If he's mad at Ozpin for his sister getting killed, it comes down to one of three things, right? So this is a lot of conjecture on my part, but I'm kind of drawing information based on what we know from previous volumes with Ozpin, with the students that we know that, you know, we saw in volume 1. So the first thing that is mentioned is that his sister died during a training mission. God knows what a training mission is, especially at Beacon, especially compared to Ozpin. But the first thing that I remembered, holy crap, I will read this in a moment, I promise, but I don't want to lose track of what I'm trying to say. So, the first thing that I remembered was the mission where the initiation for the students, where they had to go into the Emerald Forest, which was filled with Grimm, and they had to retrieve the relic, they had to come back, and, you know, all that stuff. You could kind of say that's a training mission, in a way. That's their initiation. That basically shows them what they're made of. And the first thing that I thought of was what Ozpin said on the cliffs. He said, you know, you'll make your way into the forest, there you'll get relics, make your way back on top. Be sure, he basically says something along the lines of, be aware of any opposition along the way, or you will die. He legit tells these students, hey, you're going out there, and you are going to die if you're not prepared for it. So, if you take that parallel, it's kind of similar in this sense, like, he's willingly putting them in harm's way, and he knows every single person that goes into his school, right? He knew that Jaune, I'm pretty sure he knew Jaune snuck into the school, let him in anyway, probably realized his potential. He talked about Blake, how she got into the school, passed with flying colors and all that stuff. And one thing that I thought, I was like, imagine, right? And this is kind of fucked up. Imagine, right? Because Ozpin has done it with Team RWBY, Team Juniper. He's done it with Team Stark, right? Tai Yang mentioned it too in Volume 4. Imagine if that girl died because she didn't have a landing strategy. Like, that's all Ozpin. That has nothing to do with training. That has nothing to do with fighting Grimm. That's literally Ozpin launching kids off of a cliff, sipping his coffee and just looking and be like, God, I love my fucking job. You know what I mean? Like, I literally thought of that because Jaune would have died if it wasn't for Pyrrha. And I was like, imagine that girl was just like Jaune. No business at this school, no prior knowledge, way too young, not ready, and she somehow makes it into the school and dies due to a landing strategy orchestrated by Ozpin, who's been doing this for years. And Hazel's like, "You damn straight, it's Ozpin's fault." So I was kind of mortified when I realized that. I'm trying to make a RWBY meme video out of that, but I don't know if I'll be able to do that because I'm still not dank enough to edit something of that caliber. But yeah, so the first thing I thought of was like, if he's mad at Ozpin and he's like, tell him, Ozpin, tell him how you killed her. I'd put that death on Ozpin. I'd be like, Ozpin, you literally killed that girl because you're a twisted fucking headmaster who likes, you know, just throwing kids off of a cliff. So that's number one. Number two is the fact that if Hazel's willing to blame Ozpin, then Ozpin is somewhat to blame because he knew that she wasn't ready, but still allowed her access. And the reason I say that is because the same thing that I just mentioned, Ozpin knew about Blake, how she was able, and, you know, Ozpin is the one that allows students into the school. He let RWBY into the school. He followed up with Blake on how she got into the school. He knew about the transcripts with Jaune. I'm willing to bet that. There's no confirmation unless we literally ask Miles and Carrie at a panel like, hey, did Ozpin know about Jaune, you know, his transcripts being messed up and still letting him in the school? Ozpin's practically all-knowing, especially when stuff's happening, you know, based on his whole plan of everything. So, based on those three things, if Ozpin knew that this girl was inexperienced, wasn't ready, but still allowed her in the school, and she ends up dying, yeah, I'm still gonna blame Ozpin for that, because he's the one that wrote it off like, you have access to my school, not, hey, you're not ready, your brother realizes you're not ready, come back in a few years, do some more training, yada, yada, yada. And holy shit, we passed the, oh my god, we passed our stream record. We need 5 more people in here to pass 1,600 people. 1,595 people. Oh yeah, it's official. I'm going to be doing these streams every Thursday now. Holy crap. 1,600 people in the stream. Well, first off, hopefully you have nothing else better to do because I assume you don't if you're here. I'd picture a lot of you guys having something better to do than listen to me ramble about this chapter. But yeah, so first off, thank you guys very much for joining. I will read the donations and the comments in a few minutes. Murder's Army, what is life? Wow, thanks, Arnold. Hey, Kim, I'm pretty sure you have like... You're probably animating something like awesome right now, or so. I don't know. I personally feel like there's a lot better things people can be doing than watching me stream. That's just my own self-deprecation speaking right now. It's nothing on you guys, I promise. But I hope you guys enjoy. Thank you guys very much for the support. So, and then here's the third option, right? Here's the third option. And this is the one that I'm the most conflicted by because this is where, okay, and it has to do with Grimm, just in case I forget again. And this is the one that I was most, like, passionate about when it came to debating and discussing with people. People in my Discord, people in Twitter comments. And that is if she died by a Grimm. If Gretchen Reinhardt went on a training mission, got killed by a Grimm, and now I'm actually gonna start getting like really passionate about it. It makes no fucking sense for Hazel to team up with the Queen of Grimm. She's practically responsible for his sister getting killed if she died by a Grimm. Any other circumstances, I'm willing to blame it on Ozpin. And the big debate that I was having with somebody was, well, Salem doesn't control the Grimm 24/7. She doesn't say, hey, kill this person, kill that person. But Salem, the Grimm are her responsibility. So if she died by a Grimm, I can understand why he's putting the blame on Ozpin, because Ozpin has built this infrastructure. Ozpin has built these schools that prey on children, really. It preys on the idea of children being very optimistic about the world, wanting to do good, you know, being starry-eyed and wanting to be like superheroes in the book, saving people, when it's really them being sent to the slaughter, killing Grimm, trying to fight off Salem. That's Ozpin's, like, grand scheme. And at the end of the day, it's not... He's kind of masking it by telling students, like, oh yeah, you have potential to do right in the world and to save lives and to be, you know, be a productive member of society or whatever, and not really revealing, like, yeah, this is a bigger than life foundation that I've built around the fact that kids are basically huntsmen and huntresses, and they are gonna die. But I'm willing to at least call it 50-50. That, yes, you can blame Ozpin for building this infrastructure that preyed on people like Gretchen, who went to this school, were unprepared, got killed. But at the same time, the thing that killed your sister was probably a Grimm, and you're working for its boss, basically. You're working for the boss that killed your sister. So... I'm very conflicted on that, because it's like, it's literally just that. It's like, you're mad at Ozpin, but you're not mad at the fact that you're working for the person that Grimm works for, basically, or the person that controls the Grimm that killed your sister. So I was very torn on that. I was like, I don't know if it's really even smart, and the thing that I'm thinking about too is hey, Salem could have done one of two things. Salem could have probably foresaw Hazel, or, you know, she's always looking for new recruits and new people. I wouldn't be surprised if she had her crystal ball, you know, her seer Grimm, and she sees she sees the Reinhardt. She sees Hazel and Gretchen, and she sees, like, oh wow, this guy loves his sister. I can probably spin it to have my Grimm kill his sister, convince him that it was Ozpin's fault, and have him join me, and have another person on my side who has the potential to kind of cause, you know, to give Ozpin issues. I wouldn't be surprised. I really would not be surprised if it was just like that as well. But like I said, as of right now, we don't know if it was a staged attempt on Salem's part. We know Ozpin has built the infrastructure, so to an extent, he is to blame. He didn't kill her, but he basically, I don't know, it's like, and then everyone in this show is talking about choice, right? Like, your sister had a choice. She made the choice to put others before herself, and it's like, but there is no other, there's no alternative. It's like, what choice do you have? It's like, either you fight or you die. And Ozpin doesn't really have a lot of, like, the schools are the only choice. And I really do feel like the concept of choice in this show is very skewed. And for both Ozpin and Salem, because Salem, it's like, you're working with Salem, but it's like, what do you get out of that? What do you get out of destroying mankind and, you know, causing havoc and chaos for humanity? You yourself being a human. I feel like some of these characters have very short-sightedness, like people like Adam, and I feel like this motive that Hazel has diminishes his character, because I feel like he was a very mysterious individual. He got pissed off for the right reasons, or he got pissed off for specific reasons, but then once we found out those reasons, it was like, oh really? Like, it's a revenge story. I don't know. It was a little underwhelming for Hazel, someone who had a lot of mystery behind him. And the motive is still fine, like, he lost somebody, but when you dig deep like that, it's like, well, why are you working for Salem then? If a Grimm killed her, you should be pissed at Salem for fucking creating those things. You should be mad at Ozpin too, but, I mean, don't turn your back and go work for the person that made that Grimm that killed your sister if it was in fact a Grimm. And if it was her dying, you know, on a landing strategy training mission, then yeah, blame Ozpin, because he's a sick fuck, you know what I mean? So, I don't know. The fact of choice in this show, there's really no choice. There's really no choice. And it's funny too, because the relic of... Is Beacon the relic of choice? I'm pretty sure Beacon is the relic of choice. And that just brings things full circle, because Ozpin's all about giving people choices and letting people know that they have the will to... Like, Pyrrha, like, come on, Pyrrha. Like, you really didn't have a choice in the grand scheme of things, because Ozpin knew you weren't going to say no. That wasn't in your character to say no. And I feel like Ozpin... If Ozpin knew that Jaune cheated his way into Beacon Academy, you damn sure know that he knew Pyrrha was going to say yes. But yeah, I'm rambling right now. All in all, really liked his design. Really liked the fact that he's utilizing dust in a way that's really unique and different, going Bane on everybody, going Incredible Hulk. I feel like it works. I don't think that would work for anyone but Hazel, just based on how disciplined he is. I won't lie in saying that his motives are very, very underwhelming, but at the same time, it really just comes down to the nitty gritty of his morals and where he stands on things. Do you see Ozpin as the true reason why your sister's dead, because he built this infrastructure that preys on kids like your sister to join the Huntsman Academies, even though they're not ready and they get killed? Or are you more along the lines of, like, realizing, holy shit, I fucked up. I'm working with someone who probably had a hand in my sister getting killed because she's a Grimm Lord and she commands the Grimm. You know what I mean? And I don't know. It's kind of up in the air right now with me in terms of how I feel about Hazel as a whole. And, let's see. Okay, so you guys are gonna lose me here for a second. Yeah, okay, so let's talk about this, too, because this was another interesting point of reference to be made. So I'm splitting it down the middle here so I can kind of get through both at once. So, and Hazel refers to Ozpin as evil. EVIL. You know what that stands for? That stands for every villain is lemons. Alright, so Ozpin is a lemon. And when life gives you lemons, you beat the shit out of it, which is what he did to Oscar. So, long story short, Oscar is a lemon confirmed. No. But in all seriousness, no. He called Ozpin evil. And that's a very powerful word. Like, you don't call somebody evil just out of nothing. Like, you have to, that's a very, that word has a lot of conviction to it. And to call Ozpin evil would imply that Salem is good, right? And I feel like we've been down this path before, right? We've been down this road where we see, where we see certain instances, and a lot of people in the fandom have kind of brought up this topic and this theory. I suggest all of you guys go and check out Eruption Fang. He's done a video about Ozpin's true motives as well. In this grand scheme that Ozpin isn't... and Eruption Fang put it best. He basically says, Salem is evil, but she doesn't go around pretending that she's a good guy. And that's basically what Ozpin is doing. Ozpin is going around with this hidden agenda, making himself out to be the good guy, even though what he's doing is pretty shitty. The difference is, Salem isn't trying to put up a front. She's like, hey, I'm bad, I'm evil, I'm trying to destroy humans, I'm trying to get these relics, I'm trying to become all-knowing, all-powerful, and who wants to join me? A wolf in sheep's clothing, thank you, M. That's like the best way. I don't know. That saying kind of escaped. Yeah, a wolf in sheep's clothing, basically. And Hazel saying you're evil is leading me to believe even more now that Ozpin probably is just as much of a villain in this show as Salem is. Imagine that, dude. Imagine, right? This is like Itachi all over again for me, right? Like, I was such a naive kid when I first watched Naruto. If you were to just tell me a character is evil, I'd be like, okay, that character is evil because you told me they're evil. So I'm going to believe that they're evil until the very end. And Itachi's dynamic was so crazy. I felt so bad that I hated him because he was really a good guy all along. And I feel like it's so left up into interpretation right now, and we're given very little about Salem to really be like, like morally we can look at her and be like, yeah, she's not for humans and mankind, and yeah, she's evil. But then when you look at the situation, it's like, if people are calling Ozpin evil, and Ozpin and Salem are like the true villain, like the true, adversaries here, how crazy would it be if Salem's really good and Ozpin is really bad? And he's dragging all of these people along with him, and we're led to believe that Salem's bad and Ozpin's good, and then at the very end, it just the roles are completely reversed. Like the revelations come to light, and Salem is actually trying to do something or prevent something, and it's actually Ozpin that's preventing her from doing it. That'd be fucking crazy. I mean, this chapter had like a really massive plot twist, one that personally I wasn't expecting. I feel like some people have been expecting that, but I'm gullible. I'm the type of person, like, what you see is what you get. So I couldn't picture the whole Spring Maiden thing, but I tip my hat to people who did discover that. I think that's brilliant, especially for people in the community. But evil is a powerful word. You don't just go around saying that about people. And for Hazel to it literally either it means A, he has insight on Ozpin that we don't, and he got that from Salem, and that was probably the final straw that led him to be on her side. She convinced him that he was evil, or she gave him undisputed proof that he's actually the bad guy, and that's why he's on his team. And then the second thing here, in the second shot, first off, Oscar's a fucking idiot. I can't. Oh, hold on. I can't oh, god damn it. Hold on. Let me get rid of. Okay. I get it. Right? I get the whole aspect of consent. I get how some people think that Ozpin is a parasite. I get that. I can understand why some people would say, that's fucked up. Why would Ozpin take over Oscar without permission? But then I've seen a few people, I've seen a few people this week arguing about the idea of, like, Oscar being taken over by Ozpin. That's not right. Like, Ozpin shouldn't have done that. But this fucking kid was getting me so angry because Ozpin was literally asking him, like, dude, swap. No. Oscar, no. To the point where he gets uppercut into the wall. And he's like, you told me I had to fight, so I'm gonna fight until I'm dead. That's basically what he said. And I'm like, dude, what in the fucking right mind makes you think you can fight Hazel? B, you have very limited muscle memory of Ozpin's combat. He literally thinks, oh, I fucked up the headmaster. I fought Leo Lionheart. I beat him, so I'm just gonna keep going. I don't need you, Ozpin. And I'm literally sitting there like, you are an idiot. You're going to die. And I can't understand how some people don't see it that way. Like, they don't see it. I had a discussion with someone, and we were kind of going back and forth. By the way, when I say we're going back and forth, healthy debates, healthy discussions, no name calling, no threats, none of that like immature bullshit. It was literally just like trying to understand where the other person was coming from, but at the same time trying to get them to understand where you're coming from and to see your point of view a little bit more. I was basically talking to an individual, and we were both talking about, I was like, you have to, like, if Ozpin didn't do that, Oscar's head would have been knocked off of his shoulders. Like, clean off. I'm surprised that uppercut didn't kill him, actually. And the person rebutted back with, Ozpin just did that to save himself. Because if Oscar dies, Ozpin gets set back. Oscar's dead officially, but Ozpin doesn't care. And I'm trying so hard to defend Oz. Not defend him, but I'm trying to make it like, no, like, Oscar's very much a value in and of itself. Not just for the sake that if Ozpin dies, he'll come back. But it's like, this kid doesn't need to die right now. And I don't know. It was both. It was both. I was just like, no, like, it has to be both. It could be both, but I don't necessarily think it's one or the other. I don't think Ozpin really Ozpin just doesn't. Well, I say that, but then at the same time, I'm like, yeah, Ozpin's pretty. I wouldn't be surprised if Ozpin thinks that way, but Ozpin has not given me any reason to think that he acts like a parasite and he sees Oscar as just a host, right? I feel like the point will eventually come where Ozpin just takes over completely. And that's not by choice. I doubt Ozpin wants to do that. That's just the nature of the curse. If it eventually makes it so Oscar fades into non-existence and Ozpin takes over officially, that's one thing. But at the same time, let's see, don't get me wrong, it was very childish, he did, and I'm glad Ozpin saved my boy. Yeah, hey, what's up, Meg? Welcome. How's it going? Thank you for joining. I see where Oscar is coming from, though. RWBY was one of the strongest people he ever met. He literally has no concept of how strong this threat is. Yeah, but it's like when someone like Ozpin has told him, this is somebody from my past. This is someone you do not take lightly. It's like, kid, like, you have, like, just listen to Ozpin. Just listen to Ozpin. And then on top of that, if Ozpin is really just trying to save his ass, you bet your ass he's going to try to save Oscar's, because they're one and the same. So it's a win-win for Oscar. It's like, if Ozpin is looking out for himself, as long as he's not projecting that to the boy himself, like if he's not literally telling Oscar, hey, you're a piece of shit, you're nothing more than a vessel to me, and I can't wait for the day where I take over your body. As long as he's not being an asshole like that, and I'm not saying he has to be fake about it, but like Ozpin is just never really, he hasn't shown any type of personality like that would lead me personally to believe that he'd be like that he'd feel like a parasite, and Oscar doesn't have a say in the matter. He's given Oscar plenty of choices to make for himself, right? Like last weekend, he fought Leo. He was like, what do I do? He's like, fucking fight. I'm not going to make the choice. Like, he could have easily taken over at any given point in time, but he didn't. And I feel like Ozpin very much gives Oscar a chance to be himself, a chance to, a chance to make choices for himself. But then once a real threat, like imagine if Salem walked through the fucking door and Oscar's like, I'm going to fight her. Like, are you out of your mind? I don't know. I went off on a tangent a bit about this with the discussion that I was having, because it's like, I felt like nobody was on my side when I was talking about it, and I'm like, am I the only one who thinks that? Am I the only one who thinks that Ozpin definitely has Oscar's well-being in mind, not just his, even if he is a host, even if he's a parasite, you know what I mean? I felt like it could have been either or. Beacon is the school of choice. It's ironic that the relic within it is not found. Yeah, because no one has choice in this show. That's why you can't find the relic, because no one has real choice. Once someone makes an actual choice, the relic, like a true definitive choice, the relic is going to show. It's going to be like the mirror of Erised, right, from Harry Potter. The mirror shows you what your most desires are. Like, it shows you the Philosopher's Stone if you want to find it, not if, like, how is it? It reveals to you the Philosopher's Stone to those who seek it, but don't seek to use it. That's why Harry was able to find it, and people like Quirrell and Voldemort weren't. And I'm wondering if that works the same way. It's like, once someone in this show makes a true choice with no other type of influences involved, that's when the relic is going to show up. I'm calling it right now, by the way. So mark your calendars, January 11th, 2018, and I will harken back to this discussion if at that point in time the relic shows up based on a choice that's made. And at that point, everyone then can call me the true prophet of RWBY. But yeah, Oscar needs to understand that he will grow. Yeah, you can still grow in retreating. Like, you live to fight another day. That's like combat school 101. That's like Jaune right there. Like, run and live. that's something I can get behind. He literally says that in volume 1. Like, there's nothing wrong with running away from a fight. Let's see. Do you think that Raven picked up on do you think that Raven picked up on Ozpin being evil as well? Maybe she left because she realized there was no escape from the evil, whether she took Ozpin's side or Salem's side. I feel like she just thinks they're both evil, and they can very well both be evil. They both have a history, and I think it goes beyond anything that these other characters have when it comes to their history with Ozpin, and we do not know. Like, it could be otherworldly. Their conflicts can go beyond Remnant. We don't know, and we don't know anything about Salem and what she knows, and we really don't know everything that Ozpin knows. It's all half-truths. It's all half-truths when it comes to Ozpin, and we really just don't know the full story of anything. And everything that Ozpin says, we have to really take it at half-sale and not wholesale, because the guy's making himself look good, and you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I will also say this, though. At least Ozpin apologized. At least he apologized and says, hey, I know this is fucked up. I know this is a shitty situation. You're giving me no other choice. I apologize, assuming direct control. So, and then he gave Hazel the work. So, at the very least, that experience is going to transfer over to Oscar, right? Like, Ozpin even said, he's like, he'll learn my muscle memory in time. He'll be able to fight just like me. There you go, Oscar. Some free XP, courtesy of Ozpin. Do you not like Oscar? I think Oscar is just naive and wanted to be able to solve a problem without a big fight or even talk it over rather than start violence. I love my boy. I love Oscar. He was my most anticipated character this volume. Let me see the poster. I think the 3 characters in this show that have developed the most, or that we've gotten the most out of, has been Raven, Oscar, and Hazel at this point. I mean, a lot can happen in the last 2 episodes, but I feel like it's definitive, at least at this point. Oscar, Hazel, and Ray, especially Hazel as of this chapter. I think them 3 are the ones that have developed a lot and have gotten a lot of characterization since the volume has started. But no, I'm not upset with Oscar. I just think that it's like he realizes that this is a bigger, this whole thing is bigger than him. This is Ozpin's battle, and for him to feel like he can take matters into his own hands was a little annoying, because it feels like he's not really a good judge of, not a good judge of character, but he literally just thought he can go into a situation that has nothing to do with him and solve the problem, or feel like he was up for the task. I don't know. It felt very naive. I get it. He's a farm kid. He knows no better. This is the first big conflict that he's been in, and he probably had his ego. His ego was probably really like blown up because he took down Leo. So I don't know. I personally just feel like it was iffy. It was half and half for me. I feel like a part of the reason we're inclined to be against Salem was wanting to destroy humanity is simple, because we, as the viewers of the show, are human. I was just about to say that. Are humans ourselves. We're biased, so we're willing to overlook the shitty things Ozpin does to protect us. I feel like it's both. I mean, our government does shitty things to us, and we're all human. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. I as a work of fiction, especially since I've grown a lot, and I've seen a lot of shows, I've seen a lot of adversaries, I've seen a lot of betrayals, I've seen a lot of, plot twists and transitions and things that take a completely different turn than what was originally intended. I feel like I need the full story before I can really definitively pick a side. And when the show first started, I was like, yeah, Ozpin's a cool dude. But as time slowly progressed, Ozpin has a lot of, and again, just to reiterate what Eruption Fang said, Ozpin has a lot of enemies. Crow doesn't have enemies, Galinda doesn't have enemies, Ironwood doesn't have enemies, Ozpin has enemies. Hazel doesn't like him, Salem doesn't like him, Cinder has it out for him, you know what I mean? Like, everybody, and that could easily be Salem turning everyone against him, but I still feel like it's very much like, why does no one, I feel like you can't really give it to Crow, because Crow's just a cool guy. He's just a cool uncle. He's a cool dude. I can't picture anyone not liking Crow other than Winter, because she's the Ice Queen. But yeah, I don't know. It's like Ozpin just has a really shitty track record, and just a lot of people feel like he's a very unsavory dude. So that's personally how I look at it. Ozpin, the hate magnet. You're welcome, everybody. Wait, what's up? Hold on, let's see. I'm glad I'm not the only one thinking about this topic now. Oh, good, because, I mean, that makes two of us then. I'm trying to read the chat. I'm trying to read donations. I'm trying to read super chat stuff, too. Casey Wendell, I'm so proud of you, Arnold. Thank you so much for everything you do. Keep it up. Thank you very much for the support. Appreciate all the love, guys. Christian, hey, dude, just stopping in to say hi real quick. What's up, bro? I'm gonna be talking to you soon. Seth said you guys are planning on going to RTX again. I'm pretty sure you left already, but thank you very much for the support, bud. Let's see. Hazel seems slow. Hazel seems slow from being pumped with electricity. In D&D, normal healing is positive energy that hurts undead. A healing beam could hurt Grimm. Oh, dude. That'd be nuts. That'd be great. He just has like just a healing beam. Or if he can heal his enemies from his enemies, jeez. Let me say that again. If he can heal his allies from a distance, that'd be kind of cool too. For any of you guys who play League of Legends, it'd be kind of cool if he just leaves like packets of health on the floor like Bard. Like he just leaves like aura packets everywhere he goes. Or he's like free hugs, and he just goes and hugs people, and he just restores their aura. Like he's like a Care Bear or something. He already has the Pumpkin Pete thing on him, so that's literally his Care Bear like symbol. It's the Pumpkin Pete, and he just hugs people and gives them aura. Oh man, that'd be dope. That'd be great. Okay, but Jaune would be the one who accidentally healed. Yeah, Jaune would heal a villain. That's just Jaune. Shh, let it pass. No. What was happening? I'm gonna look through this chat now. I'm gonna find out what you said or what people are talking about. God damn it. Where's your comment? Hold on, give me a second, guys. Kim's challenging me right now, and I never back down from a challenge. Huh. I'm not wrong though. Hold on. I think a lot about how different and awkward Oscar's life is having another soul inside him. Like, could he have a romantic interest? Could he masturbate? God damn it, Kim. Really? Really? I expect this from the fandom. God damn it. I have no regrets. Kim starts sweating. I think it's very much like an on and off switch, though. Right? Because I'll give you an example. It's a subtle example. It's nothing concrete. But I better not be getting sick. I'll be so pissed. But when Oscar went to the room to tell Crow, he's like, "Hey Crow, when he was like, "Hey Crow, Ozpin wants to talk to you." He said that almost as if Ozpin was nowhere nearby, even though he's literally inside your head. So I feel like it's like an on and off switch. Not an on and off switch, but there are some levels of subconscious that Oscar's fine in, and Ozpin's not really going to get in. Because another thing too, right, is like, well, I mean, I guess it works better for Ozpin because he has experience with it. But, like, somebody mentioned, too, I have an answer for it, but somebody mentioned, they were like, why was Oscar asking Ozpin about Hazel's past? Why couldn't he just think it and come and, figure it out himself? Because they share memories. And I feel like it's because he wasn't actively thinking about it. He wasn't like, let me think about this guy. Let me think about their history. Let me think about their past. Let me find out the answers. Because it's in my head, I just need to kind of get through the nooks and crannies that is Ozpin's mind. And it could also be the fact that Ozpin has the mental capabilities of preventing Oscar from entering his subconscious. So, Yeah. God damn it, Kim. Get your head out of the gutter. Hold on a second. I have napkins, because I need to blow my nose. Ugh. I better not be getting sick. I literally just got off of being sick right after the new year. And I haven't seen my brother either, so there's no way he could get me sick again. Yeah, it's kind of like Yu-Gi-Oh, right? Like, where the Pharaoh and Yugi had, like, separate minds. Like, you saw Yugi's, which has, like, all the preschool toys and stuff like that, and just, like, innocent and tender and, you know, like, pure. And then you had the Pharaoh, who had, like, a really disgusting, dark, deep, dank labyrinth. So, hey, Gene Wong, first live stream, made it. Welcome. Better late than never. I've been streaming for almost 2 hours now. An hour and 45 minutes. But thank you very much for joining. I appreciate it. Anyways, I feel like we've run Hazel's discussion into the ground at this point. Especially since we fall off the beaten path a little bit. Alright, you guys are gonna... you guys are gonna lose me really quick. Oh no. Oh no. Ah! Damn it. Okay. Alright, so the next part... So we talked about this, statue last week. And I was like, I wonder if this statue has... Well, clearly it has significance. It's the pathway to the vault. But I thought it was a little bit more based on, you know, like symbolism. Like, what does this statue itself represent? Because we know that there are gods that exist in the world. You know, the god of light, god of darkness. Salem is referred to as a god. I was wondering maybe even if this is a statue depicting Salem, right? Like if this was and someone brought up a very compelling side-by-side comparison of this statue compared to an image of Salem. I'll post it on Twitter because I can't do it right now. I don't feel like editing a picture. That's going to take a while and all that. I'll post it on Twitter later today. Or after this stream's over, just to give you guys the side-by-side comparison. But I'm wondering if this is somewhat a depiction of how people view Salem as a god, or a goddess, or whatever, or if this is like the deity that they pray to when they pray to Salem, or whatever. I don't know. It's up in the air regardless. But they found out Ozpin's there, and they don't seem to be all that surprised, which this is a little conflicting too, because it seems like everybody in the room knows that Ozpin can reincarnate, right? Cinder doesn't say, what, Ozpin's still alive? She says, Ozpin's here, right? Hazel even says it. He's like, you'll die over and over again. Also, by the way, when Hazel says that, I'm wondering if Hazel has killed Ozpin a lot. Because the way that he said it, he was like, you know, he's like, you think you could escape from me? He's like, you'll die over and over again. Like, almost as if saying, I'm gonna keep killing you over and over and over again because my sister died. So it's like, I'll kill you for all time as long as I'm alive. And, I don't know. I'm wondering. That just sounds interesting. But yeah, like, Hazel mentions you'll die over and over again. Leo mentions, he's like, you know, that's Ozpin. He's already reincarnated. You've already found your way here. You found Crow. So... Why did Cinder ask if she killed Ozpin? Like, in Volume 4, she said it as if, like, that was the end-all, be-all. It's like, damn it, if she didn't kill Ozpin, then he might still be around. That's probably why I can't find this relic. But if, I don't know, I feel like she could have still known that Ozpin is reincarnated. It was just like, did you make sure you killed him? Because if not, he could still be lingering around. I don't know. I felt like it was a little iffy in that regard. I can't wait for all the memes this discussion creates on Twitter. Oh my god, Kim! I don't know if you've seen my dank RWBY videos. I tweeted about this. I have a spicy meme video coming this weekend. I don't know if it'll be out on Saturday because I'm gonna be busy with the chapter and talking about it and stuff. Oh boy, it's a good one. It's a good one. It's a really good video. I mean, I don't wanna I don't want to hype it up, and then people are like, you call that spicy? That was shitty. So, or it was mild, not spicy, or whatever. Varying degrees of spiciness, whatever. But yeah, I have a really good one. But yeah, I was just wondering that, like, Cinder was, like, Salem, she was questioning, did you kill Ozpin? And it's like, well, if she killed Ozpin, he's already set back no matter what, so it felt like she was saying it as if she didn't know if he died or not. And if he died, he's just gonna come back, so, I don't know. It was a little conflicting, if you will. Okay, I'm gonna dedicate a few minutes to reading a few of the comments that I've been getting. Thank you guys all as well for your comments, your super chats, your donations. I'm sorry that I can't keep up with all of them. We have 1,500 people in the chat. I will try my best, though. Let's see. I'm pretty sure RWBY took Jaune's hands off to see the wound just because she has no idea what happened. I can get behind that, too. There are just some people that are... My friend Jaune was very adamant that, like, you do not do that. Like, in any field, in any whatever, curiosity... severity, you do not take your hands off of someone who's trying to apply pressure to an open wound. Just because he's in the, you know, he serves, so it's like, you learn that in, like, basic, you kind of learn basic medical practices in the combat field. So, some people are just very adamant about, like, RWBY, you're dumb, you shouldn't have done that, even if you're curious, like... You see blood around the wound. Better to be safe than sorry. Like, because then Jaune takes his arms off, and then she just freaking bleeds out and dies. You know what I mean? So, yeah, my friend Jaune was very adamant about that in particular. And again, it kind of conflicts with what she said. She's like, don't stop doing what you're doing. It's like, well, I would have if you hadn't taken my damn hands off her in the first place. So yeah, there's that. Let's see. Next evolution of his semblance could possibly be casting from a distance. I did mention that earlier. Think Ren. He touches Nora to mask her emotions as a kid and casts it to Jaune in Volume 4. Yeah, so again, like I mentioned, I was like, I'm wondering if you can just leave packets of aura like Bard does in League of Legends. WWE Maiden Fight on Remnant. Hype, 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 hype. We'll get to that. That's gonna be the last. That's gonna be the send off of the discussion for sure. Let's see. Fairy tale reference: Hazel equals Hansel, Gretchen equals Gretel, Hansel and Gretel. Absolutely. How crazy would it be if Hazel's sister knew Summer? I don't really know. I mean, they're both dead, so they have that going for them. They have something in common. That's what we can basically leave off with. Actually, I thought he was talking about Summer at first when he was like, "Tell them, Ozpin, tell them how you killed her." I was like, "Wait, is he talking about Summer? Because she's the only she that we know that's dead in this show." So yeah, yeah, that was pretty savage. Hey, the truth hurts. I'm sorry. Let's see. Trying to get through some of these comments. I'm sorry if I miss any. I do apologize. You gotta put the SpongeBob reference. You know me too well. You know me all too well. That's all I'm gonna say. I feel like Raven could very well die soon. Either Yang or RWBY will inherit the power. If while Raven dies, she reflects on her life, remembering Summer, and compares that to RWBY as she dies, that is how RWBY might get it. I feel like Vernal's already dead. Fennec's already dead. Weiss was on the chopping block. To be dead. I don't think anyone needs to die in this fight. I feel like death is like the end-all be-all because it's like it's either you or me, two maidens going up against each other, two massive powers. Whoever dies, someone is getting a maiden transfer. If Cinder dies, someone's getting the Fall Maiden. If Raven dies, she gets it. I'm gonna stop right there because I do want to get like very in depth of that when we reach the end of the discussion. I don't think Raven will die in the fight with Cinder or Yang. Becomes a Spring Maiden. Do you think Yang will be a maiden in the future, though? I don't know. I personally don't want any of Team RWBY to be a maiden. There are people who think, like, all 4 members of Team RWBY... Blake doesn't even know what the hell a maiden is, right? So it's like... And she's the one that has the least amount of conflict. She's got her own species to save, let alone the human race. So, like, she doesn't even know what the hell a maiden is. So, Blake has no business being a maiden, right? RWBY, she's got silver eyes. There's really no reason for her either. There's no reason for any of them to be. That's why the maidens in the show currently are all random houses that just get killed off and are getting hunted down by Salem. If they were important characters, they'd be flushed out. And it seems like Vernal died, Amber's dead. I'm pretty sure the Summer Maiden and the Winter Maiden are going to die by the end of the series as well. It just doesn't make sense. Could you imagine how boring the show would be if Ruby, Weiss, Blake, and Yang were all maidens, all on the same team, traveling together forever, just fucking eviscerating anything in their way? It's just uncontested at that point. So no, I don't think any of Team RWBY will be maidens. Weiss has her summons, and she's got like the most versatile glyph in the show. Ruby has silver eyes. Blake and Yang are there. I mean, they don't have anything super crazy exceptional like RWBY. Like, RWBY's just special in that regard, so. If you look at Weiss's mom, who is never mentioned, could be possibly a maiden. Like, why? There has to be a level of significance why this person would be a maiden. Like, why would Weiss's mom be a maiden? Like, that's... And more importantly, like, why wouldn't she be in hiding like the other ones are? You know what I mean? I don't know. There's just I don't know. There's just too much speculation and wishful thinking for me to take any of those kind of suggestions seriously. But anyways, let us move on. Long story short, the statue has significance, looks really cool, looks really great. Moving on. So, Yang has it bad. Yang had it rough, right? Like, the second RWBY gets knocked out and Weiss gets speared, it's automatically 2-on-1. I've already said this from day one. Emerald has one of the most broken semblances in this show. And it sucks, right? Like, it sucks because of how good she could be. She could just flip the script. She can turn the tables. If she wanted to right now, she can just have Cinder imagine herself at a carnival. And it's like, all right, guys, she's all set. We don't have to worry about her anymore. Like, I don't know. It's so broken. It just breaks your perception of reality. And I don't know. Like, and right now it's 2-on-2, so she can't really focus on that because she's probably going to be a high priority threat right now, especially since she's going, like, it's going to be a 2-on-2 right now. It's a 2-on-1. And I feel like they're keeping Yang down because they hyped Yang up so much, right? They gave her that really badass song, Armed and Ready. You know, the song's talking about her getting revenge against Adam and all this other awesome shit. And then she gets into a fight and it's like, you expect her to kick ass. And she probably would. However, she's going up against two people who actually know how to fight, not some random ass bandits who, you know, are inconsistent and are just shitty at what they do. So, and again, I still feel like she's gonna get spooked if she sees Adam, who, by the way, is right outside of this building. So, or just outside the building, so to speak. So, like, already right there. And there's so many Mercuries, and they're all smirking and just being annoying as fuck. I don't know. Emerald is low-key thick. At least your priorities are in check. I read Barbara's tweet. She's hyping up the last 2 episodes. I don't know whether to be worried or excited. Or both. I mean, the last 2 chapters, especially on how the last one ended, maiden versus maiden fight. Imagine if next week it's just Blake and Sun all week. They have so much to close out on, though. How are they, even if both episodes are 30 minutes apiece, not including the intro or outro, there's so much that needs to be tied up. There's so much. You have Blake and Sun and the whole Faunus of Menagerie army that they have. No, they're nowhere to be seen yet. You have Adam outside about to destroy the school. I'm pretty sure he's going to be a plot point for either Blake and Sun and Ilya or for Yang. One of them two. He's right outside the building. You have this relic that everyone's fighting for that we better see. I really want to see what this relic looks like. Like, they skimped us out on the beacon relic, and we're here. And I just want them to open the vault, and I want to at least see what this relic looks like. I just want to see what it looks like. That's all. Is that asking for too? I don't think that's asking for too much. I just want to see what the relic looks like. Granted, We have this massive maiden fight. Yeah, right? We have a maiden fight to look forward to. We have RWBY and Yang versus Emerald and Mercury. We have Weiss, who's seemingly going to be okay. You have Oscar, Ozpin, and Ren going up against, what's his name? Hazel, assumedly. It's like there's so many things, and I don't know. I feel like they're not going to tie up everything. I feel like they're going to leave us off on, like, the midst of something. Like, they open the relic and that's the finale. You don't even see what's inside of it. Like, just trolling us. I don't know. No, I didn't forget Nora. Nora's protecting Weiss and Jaune. RWBY was like, hey, stick around with Weiss and Jaune. I doubt that. I don't know. Like, Rooster Teeth are pretty troll. And then we have an end credit scene, too. I don't know, man. It just seems like there's too much stuff going on right now. And not enough time to wrap everything up. Yeah, I know you guys are trolls, Kim. I don't know, man. It's... right, and I'll say this, too. This episode was 12 minutes. 12-minute runtime. It's 14 minutes, technically, but the intro and outro, 12 minutes. A lot happened in this 12 minutes, so if they can give us that amount of density for like a 17-minute episode, a 20-minute episode, a 25-minute episode, whether it's the chapter 13 or the finale, then I can see, if it's just nonstop firing all cylinders of like, okay, we need to wrap this up, and the pacing is good, I can believe it, but there's just so much expectations and not enough time that I feel like a lot of stuff isn't going to get cleared up. I wonder if Haven's gonna fall. Everyone's been wanting Team RWBY to get together since Volume 3, right? Like, is that gonna happen? Are the 4 girls going to see each other this volume? 2 episodes left. I couldn't tell you. I don't know. But anyways, Emerald, Mercury, they're an issue. They're a problem. Also... oh, hold on a second. Okay. So let's move on. This is initially, like, this is when they first go down the elevator. This is before shit hits the fan, so to speak. So yeah, I liked this scene right here in particular just because it felt like this was... okay, so first off, I'm doing this scene at request. My friend Ashley was like, oh, when you do your discussion, you should definitely use the image of Cinder in the elevator with that smug look on her face. And this is, like, the first hint of, like, how smug and arrogant and condescending and cocky Cinder is, right? Just thinking, like, she's counting her chickens before they hatch. Like, what other phrase, what else is there? I don't know. She's already claimed victory. And she's, like, talking down to them. She's like, yeah, you're about to open a vault. And, you know, all this other stuff, and it's like, here we are. And she's just so confident. And it's like what Watt said, too. It's like, if shit goes off, this is all on Cinder. Because none of this had to happen. Crow and them didn't have to show up. All the stuff that's happening upstairs didn't need to happen. It could have easily been Cinder, Emerald, Mercury, Watts, Adam, and the White Fang all escorting Vernal and Raven here. And they literally can't take on all that by themselves. And that would have been a GG. That would have been a moment that you can actually have your cake and eat it too. And this was just like the early tell of how cocky she is. And this is also an early tell of how clever Raven is, right? She puts her mask on at the end. And, by the way, Kim, I don't know who did the lighting or who did the comp work, but the two left images, the one with Cinder and the one with Cinder and Vernal, I really like those images, especially with the blue lights that, like kind of pass by them as they go through the elevator. I don't know why, it's really appealing on the eyes. Also, the tree looks absolutely beautiful. Like, this whole scenery, like, the entire scenery of the vault is really, really cool looking. And this is basically going to be our arena for the maiden versus maiden fight. But yeah, I'm a slut for lighting, guys. Seawood75 knows me well. Not gonna lie, even with the freaky arm and the missing eye, I'd still tap that. Cinder's pretty hot. Pun intended. But, like, she's a fucking bitch. She literally just tried killing another student. Like, no, like, she has, like, no shred of remorse. She has, like, she doesn't even think it over. She's just like, I do this every day, bro. I don't know. But yeah, this is obviously the first signs of her cockiness kind of coming back to bite her. And it sucks, right? And I'm going to get into this too. Remind me if I forget. Somebody remind me if I forget. But I'm going to say this right now just so I can come back to it later. If Cinder wins the fight, I'm going to be pissed. Remind me that I said that a little while from now when we go back to, when we bounce back to this scene here. Just in case, because I have to preface everything I say because I go on such tangents now that I eventually forget what it is that I'm trying to say, a la the whole Hazel thing. So, I want to introduce to you guys a segment. And I feel like it's a segment you guys already know. The segment of animation. I've done this in the last couple of chapters. Basically, I kind of showcase a really cool action sequence that I really like. Talk about it a little bit. Kim's here, so that's even better. She probably worked on one of these. Hopefully, is his name Jaune? I hope I didn't fuck that up. I think that's his name. Followed him on Twitter. Found out his Twitter account. Just gave him props because he's fucking awesome. Some of these are real, like, most of these obviously are really, really good. And there's one of them in here that I threw in. So there's two animations that I really liked of this, skirmishes that we had in the chapter. There's one kind of trolley set of animation that I wanted to give shout outs to. And then there's one that I have that's a reference. So, okay, Jaune. All right, I didn't fuck that up. So, the first two that I want to talk about is Ozpin versus Hazel. This is the first one that I want to talk about. These are like clips of a bunch of different highlights of Ozpin's moment fighting against Hazel. This is the most that we've ever gotten of Ozpin, right? The only other time we've ever seen him fight was like 15 seconds of animation against Cinder in the vault back at Beacon in Volume 3. And that was literally like 15 seconds. So, and it's like, it's Ozpin through Oscar. But I just really like how much finesse he has. Like he's literally fighting Bane right now. And he's not really doing much. I feel like he's annoying Hazel more than anything. But, Ozpin, the poke man. Yeah. Let's see. This was me and Jaune who animated this fight scene. This one was really, really good. I really liked it. Ah! My water bottle cap fell on the floor. Ah! Okay. So yeah, that's number one. The second one that I really liked was Yang versus Mercury, which was basically just Yang getting her ass kicked. I don't know, it was pretty quick, but it was savory nonetheless. I did like it, and I like how he did the kick from the back. Nice attention to detail. He's got happy feet, so that was pretty so loud. Oh wait, it's so loud. Oh, they're shit. Hold on. Wait, there's. Oh my god, I am so sorry. Wait, is there volume on the Mercury one? How? Oh, fuck. You know what happened? Okay, well. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. So you can't detect the audio in this. Oh, fuck. Okay, I see it now. Shit, my bad. So, I'm really sorry, guys. Oh my god. I don't know how loud that was. I'll watch it, I'll listen to it on the back end, like after it uploads. So what I usually do when I edit these is I remove the audio. And what happened was I was in a rush because I was late. I started streaming around 7-ish. I usually start around 6. So what happened was I forgot to take out the audio of that. And I didn't realize that OBS still keeps the audio. So I'm going to try this again. Please don't destroy my audience's ears. Is it good? Is it good? Let me know. Let me know. Oh, fuck. What the hell? Hold on. Okay, you know what? I'm just gonna take it off. I'm just gonna take it out. I'm just taking it out. I'm just taking it out. I just wanted that to be known. Oh my god. I am so sorry. I know, but in order to mute it, it has to be on the screen. Alright, how about this then? Everybody put your volume down for like 5 seconds. Actually, 10 seconds. I'm gonna pull it back up. Okay, 1, 2. Alright, sorry. Okay, there you go. We're good. We're good. We're good. Let me know. I am so sorry to anybody who's watching this past broadcast, by the way. Like, anybody who's watching... Oh, my God. They're gonna get really spooked. Oh, man. I am so sorry. I feel like an asshole now. God damn it. I don't even want to know the decibel levels, how high that got. When I looked at it to turn it off, it was in the red. So... I'm so sorry to all of you guys who are watching. How bad was it? Is it like my reaction's bad or worse? Like, oh my god, I can only imagine. I'm not looking forward to that moment. It's worse. All right, I'm really sorry. I'll make sure that never happens again. Like I said, I usually take the audio out of these animations before I post them just so I don't get copyrights. And, it's like a 5-second clip on top of that. But yeah, my bad. Really sorry. So, these are the 2 animations that I really, really liked. Yang and Mercury, Ozpin and Hazel. Kim, who did this one, the Yang one, the Yang and Mercury? If you're still here, if your ears aren't blown out yet. Hold on, how's the... Wait, what? How's the audio, guys? Hold on. Why is everyone saying rip earphones or rip ears? Okay. Oh, alright, you guys are still saying it. I'm like, is it still bad? I don't know. Alright, well, I'm gonna keep those off now because we already got past them. So, the next action and the next animation that I want to mention... video... Okay. Alright. So, Mercury was an episode animated by me and Erica... Susar? I think that's how you say that? Sosar or Susar? I'm sorry if I'm butchering your name. I'm really sorry. That's how you say it? Okay. Alright, I don't feel like an asshole. So the next one is actually a little bit of a trolly, kind of funny animation, and it's one that I noticed. I was like, okay, Oscar owes a lot of... Crow is the unsung hero of this chapter, right? He was taking so many L's for Ozpin and Oscar, it's ridiculous. And I wanted to highlight that. I really hope this doesn't have audio. Crow got fucking destroyed in this chapter. And, okay, there's no audio, thank God. Like, so, he gets tossed... He's taking all these shots. He gets fucking punched into the stratosphere. He pulls out his scythe, doesn't even use... By the way, Kim, whoever animated that scythe coming out, tell them to... Actually, you know what? I take that back. Because I'm, like, really pissed off that he took his scythe out and he didn't use it. I was really upset by that. Because I've been waiting for this man to bust out the old scythe combos since Volume 3. And he took it out, and I was like, oh my god, we see a scythe. And then it went back to sword form. So, yeah, you guys are trolls, but at the same time, please use the scythe. Please talk to Kerry. Tell him something. Be like, hey, we can't cock tease around, okay? We can't be pussyfooting around the entire show. We gotta whip out the scythe at some point. Let's see. Yeah, so long story short, Crow gets the shit end of the stick. He literally just... Bane, he just got, his back broken. Bane broke Batman. Crow is Batman right now, and he just got his back broken. I know that much in Batman. I know Bane breaks Batman's back or whatever. But yeah, let's see. Bickety and Bunk. I have a theory that all the schools will fall, as do I. I think all the schools are going to fall, all the maidens are going to die, all the relics are going to be retrieved by Salem's company, and, misery and pain for all, basically. Then the victory will be a big uphill battle, but I'm okay with that. I kind of want that, to be honest. You and I are like-minded then in that regard, because I feel like that's very much what's going to happen. And I kind of want to see that uphill battle. I mean, a lot of people are just going to get just straight up killed, just eviscerated, just slaughtered across the board if that happens, but, you know... With great power comes great responsibility. Let's see, hold on. Please show the frame where Crow protects Oscar. LOL. Every shot in this animation, every single one, he's protecting Oscar and Ozpin. Especially when Oscar is being stubborn as hell and he just gets thrown like a rag doll. Yeah, Yo, Crow needs a vacation, man. No wonder, Oscar, Crow's just he doesn't want any. He's just sick of it already. And he's Ozpin's right-hand man too, so I'm not surprised he took the hit for his boy right there. That was pretty ridiculous. One thing that I will say that somebody mentioned in a previous discussion, my friend Enrico, he does RWBY videos on YouTube as well. He mentioned, RWBY told Ren to team up with, he was like, Oscar needs help, and Ren's like, I got it. And Ren can mask emotions. And, Ozpin mentioned to Oscar, he was like, Hazel is, he was like, let me talk to Hazel. I know Hazel. He's wounded in a way that cannot be healed. And I'm wondering if his masked emotions are going to be enough. If Ren can use his semblance to calm Hazel down so Ozpin can talk to him. I'm wondering if that is, if that's possible, or if we're interpreting Ren's semblance differently. Do you only mask emotions for the Grimm, or can you actually use it on other people to quell them? I'm wondering if that's the case, because he's just enraged right now. He's not trying to talk to anybody, and Oscar was trying to get through to him, and he was like, my sister wasn't ready. She was a child, and he was like, well, you chose death, and he's just not trying to talk it out. It seems very opposite to his character, because he seemed very diplomatic and very kind of put together in that sense, and now he's not. So it's kind of a toss up between. You know what I mean? I just realized this is a stream. Did you really? You just thought I was magically responding to people on cue? No, this is a live stream. I do these every week when RWBY's around. And, I need to go to the bathroom. I made it through a whole bottle of water in the last 2 hours. And, I mean, I've been holding it in this whole time, but I really need to go now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a brief break. I'm going to put some music on for you guys. I'm going to take a little intermission. I suggest you guys do the same. Like Like, get food, go get snacks. I'm not leaving. So hopefully the same amount of people are still here when I get back. What do you mean have fun, Arnold? I gotta go take a piss. No, I have to go to the bathroom really quick. I've been needing to go for like the last hour, and I've been putting it off, and I'm just like... It's gonna take like 2-3 minutes max. So, give me a second. I'm gonna put on, let's see, ski. I'll put on some ski. Cereal time? You need a bathroom break screen? I know, right? I'll think of one for Volume 6 when we come back for RWBY Volume 6. That'll be great. Alright, hold on. Alright. I'll be right back. Enjoy yourselves. Enjoy the music. Rip. Rip my stream. Oh my god, I feel like $1,000,000 right now. Yeah, I'm back. Did you wash your hands? Of course I did. The chat is lit. For anybody who's wondering what the... Hold on. Your bathroom break costed you 200 views. The P of regret. I regret nothing. I regret absolutely nothing. For those of you who are wondering what the song is called, it's called Ski, S-K-I, by Hyper Potions. I'll put the link in the... I'm going to put the link in the comments or the chat. Good luck trying to get it before it scrolls all the way up. Wasn't the song Friends? No, I haven't updated the description of my thing yet. So, no, it's called Ski. But it's by the same people, so if you go to their channel, you'll find that song that I just used anyway. So. What did you say the music was called again? It's just look up Hyper Potions on YouTube. They're a music channel, and the song is called Ski, S-K-I. They do a lot of other good music. They do a song called Friends. They do a song called, Friends, Surf, and Ski are probably my top 3 favorite songs of theirs. So, yeah. You peed your views away? Oh man, I have to like reconsider drinking water during, but it's like I have to drink water because I'm talking for hours. Oh, by the way, I did the math, right? I did the math, and from chapter 1 to chapter 11 of volume 4, I've talked about RWBY for 40 hours. As of right now, it's 42 hours and 28 minutes that I've been talking about RWBY. Like, my discussions, they tally at 40 hours, 42 hours as of right now. So, you're damn straight I need water every week. Otherwise, I'd have no voice. Yeah, I mean, that's cool. We peaked at 1600, which is the highest it's ever been. So, the only other time I think it's going to get higher than that is maybe the finale, depending on what happens next week. Curious what you think. Do you think Jaune will heal Vernal's wounds? Also, the possibility of Jaune healing Raven if Cinder ends up winning the fight. Jaune's nowhere there, and I don't even think he knows what he's doing right now. Not to mention, he's still attending to Weiss. He'd have to get down into the vault. That's if Vernal actually didn't die when all that went down. Anyways, I'm gonna try to get back on topic. Let me find this. Oh, okay. This next animation's really cool. So this is the reference one, and this is the reference from here and from volume 3. This is the Ozpin poke. So basically, this is reminiscent of his attack that he did to Cinder, and I mentioned it earlier, but I actually have the visual. Oh gosh, please tell me there's no audio. Okay, good. Thank God. I'm like super self-conscious about that now. But yeah, this is the it's the parallel. It's the similar attack, albeit the one that he had when he was in his previous form was way more godly, and it just looked way cooler. And he wasn't in like a kid's body, so he probably had a lot more power and stamina and strength behind those attacks. So I'm so happy you caught that. Yeah, I caught that in my reaction too. I was like, that's the same attack he does against Cinder, except it's not as godly because he's a little kid. So and Hazel's unfazed by it completely, so he doesn't have the oomph in his attacks like he used to, unfortunately. But and he had like super crazy, like super fast speed in volume 3. Like he deflected all of Cinder's attacks like instantaneously. So what I think would be super cool but OP as fuck is if Ozpin had the ability to use the semblances of all of his past lives, but he could only do it once. I think that'd be a pretty cool I think that'd be a pretty cool perk to reincarnating constantly and merging your souls with somebody else, because he keeps all of the memories and the souls all combined, so there should be no reason that he should ever lose those semblances. They all just merge together. That'd be kind of cool. I don't know if you guys think the same. I think it'd be OP if he could use any of them whenever he wanted, but I think it'd be super cool if he had the ability to utilize any semblance only once from a wielder, from a past host. And he has thousands of lifetimes worth of people who could have potentially awoken their semblances and, you know, have been huntsmen or whatever, depending on what lives he's lived in previous years. I think that'd be really, really, really fucking dope. Like, this could be a semblance. Like, this top thing right here, this could be, like, the godly version of it. Like, that could be, like, a super speed version of his attack, and then the bottom one is just a basic version, because he's just a random kid. So, I don't know. I think that, I just think that it's super dope, and it would give Ozpin a really cool way of being unpredictable in fights, because he has so much in his arsenal, and his opponents would never know because he's doing something different every time. So, also, I'd really like to know what Oscar's semblance is, because it's like, well, what can we really understand by Oscar right now? Not much. He's very impulsive, I guess I would say right now. His personality hasn't really surfaced for us to be able to make a rational prediction on what his semblance could be parallel to his personality. Like, Jaune's is being selfless, so you heal people, you put others before yourself, you probably give unto others the aura reserve that you have, making yourself vulnerable at the sake of keeping your teammates alive. Everybody else's semblance kind of complements or harkens back to their personalities, but Ozpin's a completely different, because he's a, like, I don't even think that'd be so cool if we get to see the original Ozpin. But I'm so attached to this one, the top one, because that's literally that's Ozpin as we know him. So I'd be so, oh my gosh, I'd be so, like, weirded out if he was like, like a small old hermit of a man in his original form. I'm just like, that's like, I don't know. It would destroy the mystique behind it, right? It'd be like the Wizard of Oz, right? Like, we thought the wizard was like that giant glowing head, like the green emerald person that spoke to Dorothy, and then, like, just behind the curtain was the actual like Wizard of Oz, Ozpin head. So it's like, I'd be so, I don't know. Anyways, Joel Mann animated the top one. Oh man, that's so good. He kind of kept everything intact. Again, like I said, the top one is just like on another level because it's like Ozpin in his prime of his previous form, whereas the bottom one is a bit more realistic, and it's like he needs to do that to everybody on Salem's team. Like, he did it to Cinder, he did it to Hazel. Now he needs to get Tyrion, Watts, Salem herself, maybe. That'd be pretty cool. Wasn't the wizard the original? No, it just says that he was a wizard in a previous life. He could have existed long before that. So we don't know who the original Ozpin is at all. So please, I'm dying from laughter. Remove the poke, man. All right, I'll get rid of that. Poke's kind of a little OP at this point. But yeah, those are the animations that I wanted to feature in this, kind of giving shout outs to people on the RWBY who worked on them, and also kind of looking back and discussing them in the discussion here today. So, let me read a few of these comments we got. You're gonna need to call Pyrrha for lessons, and I'm sorry. God damn it. Let's see. Salem and Ozpin have been in a war with each other for a very long time. So why is Salem... Hold on. So why is Salem... Wait, hold on. So why is Salem attacking the Huntsman Academies now?
She has a lot more experiences in fight, plus probably fight harder opponents.
Ooh.
That'll just be my thoughts, yo. Oh, we don't know how long she, Raven, had the maiden power. Cinder is go down bra bra. Water, vodka brolol JK.
I think Raven has the upper hand. We'll get to that too, because there's a lot of people who are 50-50. There's a lot of people that think Cinder's gonna win. Some people think Raven. It's one or the other, right? And I don't know if there definitively needs to be a winner and a loser, someone alive, someone dead, but I really can't picture it any other way. All right, let's see. Why is she attacking the Huntsman Academies now? She could have attacked them when they were first developed. They would have been weaker then. True. Who really knows, right? Like, and who's to say that she could have done that, right? Like, in the time, it seems like Salem is trapped wherever she is. And I say trapped because if she wanted, she could easily leave and just wreak havoc and damnation with her whole Grimm army, but rather she's using other people to get what she wants. I don't know if she's stuck where she is. I don't know if she just prefers to stay there. But if she's onto others, if she's onto putting others onto, like, I don't know, if she's someone who rather let other people do the work instead of her, then I can see how Ozpin would make a significant amount of progress. If she's trapped where she is, I can see why that's another factor too. It's just like we still need to understand a little bit more of the past and their circumstances and why their feud is going the way that it's going. Like, why aren't them two confronting each other directly? Why are they using all of these other assets and set pieces and pawns and characters in this war that's really between them two? So, let's see. Try to get through as many of these as possible, guys. Yay, he's alive. Yeah, I just went to the bathroom. Curious, what do you think? Do you think Jaune will... okay. Yeah, I asked that one. The Jaune and Vernal healing factor. Greetings from Germany. Holy crap, it is 3:34 a.m. over here, and I wouldn't be happier to catch a stream to catch you live for a change. Sleep is for the weak. Love everything you do. Keep it up. Thank you very much. How is it in Germany? I've never been there. My friend Sven is from Germany, actually, so that's kind of cool that I at least know somebody else from Germany now. Yeah, so I did a Twitter poll earlier, like an hour before like 20 minutes before this stream, and I was like, who's gonna come out on top, Cinder or Raven? And the last I checked, it had 300 votes. And it was 75% said Raven, 25% said Cinder. So I will go back to that, but really quick, I just wanted to make note of that, just so we're kind of on track. So yeah, right here, RWBY kind of gets back into the funk of things. She wakes up, realizes Weiss is injured, kind of looks around and surveys the area, sees her sisters getting wrecked, sees her uncle get punched into the stratosphere, kind of sets point, gives everybody a task, goes to her sister. So I think, and this is another potential matchup, you have the RWBY, you have RWBY and you have Yang going up against Emerald and Mercury. I don't think anything grandiose is going to come from this skirmish, but it's still something that is happening. And RWBY prefaces too by like, I'm not alright, I'm angry. And we've never really seen... That's like characterization for RWBY. It's like, okay, all right, she has angry she can express anger. She has that emotion in her, because RWBY's never been pissed. She's never been mad, upset, angry. And it's like, I wonder what she looks like in that. I wonder like how she reacts under that type of mentality. But someone also told me RWBY is already kind of reckless when it comes to fighting other people. And having an angry person, nonetheless, an angry person would just make that recklessness even more of an issue. So, I don't know, like, it would be cool to see, like, her being upset and Yang being the calm one, because it's kind of like role reversal at that point. And, Yang's usually the one that, like, is the one that kind of just blows a gasket and kind of goes off on people. But she's been talking to her father. She's learned a lot from her past experiences of, having a temper tantrum when she uses her semblance. So I think at this point, the roles are going to be a little reversed now. Like, Yang is going to be the cool, calm, collected. RWBY is going to be the one that's going to be kind of going in a little bit more in that regard. So, I mean, that's another aspect to look at. I miss Super Saiyang. Oh, come on, guys. These puns are hurting me. Oh, wow, my vote right now is 82% Raven, 18% Cinder. Oh, wow. Talk about a landslide.
It's going to be like Oz just takes over Oscar's body. But I personally think Ozpin will pass on his memories / goals / etc. and his consciousness will fade into Oscar's. So Oscar will still be himself.
A lot of people don't know, really. Because Ozpin mentioned that they combined. And that he's changed, but his memories stay with him. And it's like, what is identity but a memory, right? Like, you are who you are because of what you remember. If you don't remember anything, you're basically a shell of your former self. And it's really like, it's like, the only way that you would be able to kind of identify with that is if you take Ozpin's word for it. And knowing Ozpin, who's someone who's told a lot of lies and half-truths, the more, how do I word this? The more, how am I trying to say this? I guess that's like that's like substantial information. So I would say the more substantial the information that we get from Ozpin, the more that we have to take it like at half sale. Like the more that we have to question what Ozpin says, the more significant the information is. And that's something that's pretty crazy. Like, I could easily see Ozpin being like, yeah, our souls merge, our memories, we keep the memories, and that's enough. But it's like, also, I eventually take over, though. I have all the memories of Oscar. not to, but you know, Oscar ceases to be. Like Oscar just merges with my soul, and I basically hostile takeover. I don't know. I think a lot of what Ozpin says has to be questioned at this point because he's told enough lies and enough half-truths to where it's like, now even the audience has to question you. If the characters in this show have their doubts about Ozpin, if Raven goes off about how Ozpin is not to be trusted and all of this stuff, even though we don't have the full picture, that's enough to sow seeds of doubt in anybody's mind. So personally, I'm always going to question what Ozpin says just because it's tainted. He's tainted at this point. You know? You need to question. Yeah, it's literally what Raven said. You need to question everything. Even yourself. Hey! Eruption Fang! Cole, what's up, dude? Ozpin is never to be trusted. His previous body doesn't seem to have other Yeah, exactly. So I've been kind of quoting you this entire night. I've been constantly telling people, oh yeah, so I watched this one video by Eruption Fang and it said this and I agree with this. So like, I think the video that you did on the whole Ozpin isn't to be trusted, like I was very much that starry-eyed individual. Volume 1, Volume 2, I'm like, oh, Ozpin's awesome. He's a beast. He knows what he's talking about. He's the good guy. Salem's the bad girl, and that's the black and white cut and dry of it. And now it's like because so much has been revealed. I guess so much has been revealed to an extent, and it's just the fact of like you've told too many lies to where it's like a relationship too. Like if someone cheats on you, that's always going to be in the back of your head for that relationship and all future ones. You're always going to question everything because of the experiences that like the rocky roads that kind of the bumps in the road that you kind of go through. So yeah, I do personally think that like you have to question that with Ozpin, especially when it comes to the shift in with everything. Like Ozpin isn't gonna be like, yeah, I'm gonna take over this kid, you guys are still gonna help me, right? You know what I mean? Because that's super like, I don't know, that just makes me question a lot of things. It's like, I don't know if I want to help you because you sound like a parasite. You know what I mean? So I mean, it is what it is. Did you see Aaron here? Like I did not. Hold on a second. Hey! Oh my gosh. Is that like the Aaron? I'm like, I think this has happened before, but I was very skeptical last time too. So I have no idea. Also, if you are at the actual Aaron Zek, where the fuck is Blake? We haven't seen her in like 3 episodes now. Well, 2 episodes, soon to be 3 at this point. I'm wondering if we're even going to see her by the finale, like if Team RWBY is going to get back together or whatever. Anyways, let's see. So yeah, RWBY and I don't really even know if anything's going to come of a skirmish like that. Your girls getting an army together? Yeah, I see that. It's just like Team RWBY is supposed to be getting back together, and this whole army is supposed to be helping out, and it's like we could use that help now more than ever. So I don't know. It's
Calm down. We're not here for your money
right now. Ozpin
said that when they merge, they become a different person, like Dragon Ball fusions.
I wouldn't say like I wouldn't exactly compare it to Dragon Ball, but he does say like their He said that. Let me try to paraphrase this. He's like for thousands of years, I've walked the surface of Remnant, living, dying, and reincarnating in the body of a like-minded soul. With every rebirth, I am changed. He basically says, like, their souls merge, he's forever changed, but his memories stay with him. So, I don't know. It's very conflicting, especially just because it's like, I don't know. I need more information. I don't want to give Ozpin the benefit of the doubt anymore because he hasn't given me enough for me to really trust him anymore. Especially like with Pyrrha, like I question so much. I'm like, did he really give anybody a choice? Did he give Pyrrha a choice, or did he know that she was gonna say that? You know what I mean? Like, did he want to save Oscar from Hazel, or was he trying to save himself because if Oscar dies, he gets set back? You know, like there's just so much about the dude that's unsavory that just puts a lot into question for me. So it's very conflicting at times. But anyway, so yeah, the Emerald and Mercury versus Ruby and Yang. I don't really know if anything grandiose is going to come from that. Hopefully we get a more substantial rematch between Yang and Mercury, especially after like Mercury's running his mouth about, hey, you need to pay me back for my leg, and is that any way you greet your friends, based on like volume 3 and how he kind of left off with her like framing her and stuff like that. So I don't know. It'd be interesting. But let's see. All right, the next one. Okay, so we're rounding towards the end of the discussion at this point. Hey, Blassie!
Raven can thank me for that pillow and lol. JK, love your streams. Yang has been receiving damage, so power is building. I believe, as you say, Ruby is going to get reckless and Yang will have to be the calm one in the pair. Plus, might kill a mercenary or...
Interesting. Let's see. Might kill a mercenary or... Yeah, I do think like it's going to be like the role reversal, basically. Like Yang is going to be the cool, calm, collected, keep things in check, make sure Ruby doesn't go off the beaten path. And did you notice the little quip they did with how the Haven Vault in this one looks so much better than yeah, it's like a long corridor, but it actually looks like gorgeous. But Raven, I'm sorry, Cinder mentioned that they went to a bit of effort. She was like, I wonder what the extra effort was for. This vault looks way better than the one in Vale, or the one at Beacon. And I don't think I mentioned this earlier, but the tree reminded me of Yggdrasil, the world tree from Norse mythology. So I didn't really do a lot of research when I was watching the episode, and my initial reaction was like, is that the world tree? Because they draw a lot of inspiration. Ruby draws a lot of inspiration, especially now with Norse mythology.
The Raven fight will be pretty fire.
God damn it, Noah. I think the Cinder versus Raven fight will be pretty fire. Yeah, it'll also be pretty ice, pretty lightning, pretty wind, and every other element that they have in their disposal at this point. But yeah, I don't know. That's what I initially remembered. Let's see. Hannah, Ash, Michelle, and Melanie animated the last scene. Nice. Oh man. Yeah, so I thought this room was absolutely beautiful, and this is the battlefield. Like this is the arena for the maiden versus maiden fight that is hopefully going to happen within the next 2 chapters. Another cool thing oh shit, actually hold on, I'm gonna put in another image right now because I can't. How did I forget to mention that? There's an image that I was supposed to add that I completely forgot to.
We're not here for your money.
Let's give Cinder a big hand for that one. She really made a grim mistake there. Now Raven's not going to show any mercy. She probably didn't see that coming.
Yeah.
At least Yang's not the only one who was disarmed. It's time for Raven to spring into action.
Nice.
Calm down. We're
Pretty
not
much
here for your money.
Little off topic here, but I saw the picture of your OC, and it's kinda like one of mine. My OC wields an Arumi, sword / with hybrid / sniper rifle.
Hold on
semblance, a second. Manipulate and control electricity. What was your OC's semblance?
So that wasn't an OC. That was actually me. I don't have an OC, but no, that RWBY fan art that you saw with the character with the revolver and the chain and the lightning, that was me. I basically had someone create me if I was in the RWBY universe with a weapon. Tess Richards, actually, she's in the chat right now. She's the one who created that for me. And it's loosely based off of Kurapika's chain weapon in Hunter x Hunter, but it's a lot more like ambitious because it's kind of like you can like use different kind of like you can use it with like your fingers and different joints, and you can kind of animate it to attack in different ways and kind of use it in different ways. And it's dust infused, so that's not its semblance. That the lightning that was on it was because dust is infused within it. And actually, you know what? Let me just show what it looks like instead of explaining it, because I am terrible at explaining things. But you asked me what my semblance would be. My semblance would be something more utility-based than actually... my semblance would be more utility-based than something that's offensive. And the thing that I relate it to is Assassin's Creed, like Eagle Vision. Like, I can perceive the intentions of people around me with that semblance. So I can know who's a friend, who's a foe, and whatnot. So here it is. This is the best that you guys are going to get on the screen, at least right now. So yeah, that's me. That's me, and that's my weapon, and that's my semblance. Oh, no, not my semblance. Sorry, it's just the attire. It's just me. Semblance OP, please nerf. Yeah. I absolutely love it. I absolutely love it. And the funny thing, too, is she surprised me with it. It's not like I went up to her and was like, hey, make me this. She was like, hey, this is what I did in my spirit. I think she drew this while she was listening to a discussion of mine. So I absolutely love it. It came out really, really good. But anyways, so back on track a little bit. The bottom left screen, I don't know if any of you guys are aware of this, but apparently the symbol on the floor is very familiar to an actual iconic like iconography, and it's known as the fleur de lis, which I believe originates in France. And here's the image right here. I'm posting the image, the full image of it here, just because I forgot to put it in the discussion itself. That looks very much like the fleur de lis on the ground, and obviously it's obviously designed a little bit differently. But I'm just mentioning it because I don't really have a lot of knowledge or insight. Oh, fleur de lis. Okay, I'm sorry. I pronounce every letter in my words, so, and I'm not foreign, so I really don't know all that much. But yeah, so I don't know necessarily what it represents. Another cool little fun fact is apparently the week that the chapter came out on first members, the week that last weekend, Jaune awoken his semblance on Joan of Arc's birthday. It was either the day of her birth. I think it was the day of her birth. So I don't know how accurate that is. I've heard a lot of people say it. I've looked on Reddit and people mentioned it. So it's kind of like Jaune awoken Jaune's semblance birthed on the day of his inspiration's birth, the birthday of Joan of Arc, which is who Jaune is based off of. And a lot of people also mention that Joan of Arc was also, I think, promoted to, or became nobility on January 20th, 1412, I think it was. So January 20th is next weekend, and that's the finale for RWBY. So a lot of people think that something big is going to happen regarding Jaune. And I feel like those two dates are too much of a coincidence. I would not be surprised if Rooster Teeth planned that out. Like, they were like, hey, 1 week we're not going to show a chapter because if we don't, then it's not going to the dates aren't going to line up. You know what I mean? So, Jaune, hashtag Jaune for Maiden confirmed, I think. He grows wings. Oh, God. All right. Anyways, I just figured I'd mention that piece of information because I completely forgot to put it together when I was putting all of this discussion work together. But overall, I love the design of the Vault of the Spring Maiden. It looks way more artistic, gorgeous, beautiful, a lot more vibrant than the vault, than the plain vault at Beacon. Unless the vault at Beacon was kind of I don't know. It just seems very, very boring and very bland. But maybe that's the whole point because they never found the relic. So maybe that was a ruse. So yeah, I absolutely love this. And this is, again, like I said, this is the battlefield of Cinder versus Raven at this point. So fuck off, man. Let's talk about this. I can't stand how smug Cinder is. Like we know Cinder is really arrogant. She's very cocky, very condescending. She has a very high opinion of herself. She's got a little bit of power and she thinks she runs shit. And I'm so happy that things turned around for Raven in this sense. But it obviously came at a cost, right? Like, obviously, Vernal seemingly died. Some people think that, she's just unconscious. Some people think that, when she went limp, that it was actually, like, she died and Cinder was waiting for the power to transfer, but it never did. Or maybe some people think that her Grimm arm was siphoning power out of her, kind of like the Grimm glove did to Amber in Volume 3. But I felt such pride. I felt so happy when Cinder was just running her mouth. She's like, they say you're smart. They say you're strong. They say you're clever. They're wrong. And I was... So first off, you can tell how cocky she is because she didn't even wait for Vernal to touch the door. And that was the whole point. Like, the whole plan, I think the entire plan of Raven and Vernal from the get-go has been one about coordination. Like, from as long as they've been in cahoots over this whole Spring Maiden debacle, they had agreed, or, it seems like they are in agreement, like, hey, I'm gonna pass you off as the Maiden no matter what, no matter who comes to our door. Whenever we go out and about, I'm gonna wear my helmet, and you're gonna pass yourself off as the Maiden. So that way, it's a form of misdirection. So if anyone asks questions or whatever, it's basically, it works in their favor. Like, even now, like, this is the proof of why they did it. And like every situation that we've seen of Maiden powers being used, or them passing off Vernal as the Maiden, Raven has always had her helmet on. However, in the chapter where the lightning bolt strikes, some people are like, well, she didn't have her helmet on then. First off, all the characters were looking away from Raven, so she could have very well had her eyes glowing when she used the power, and it didn't get caught on screen. Also, if you go back to that episode and watch it, her hand slightly goes down. Like, Vernal's goes down because she's playing it up, but Raven's actually lowers her hand. So I think that's like a subtlety. Like, I think that's subtlety to, like, she actually is the one who used the power, not Vernal. But she was trying to be discreet about it because there are witnesses around her. But the thing is, too, like, she didn't even wait for Vernal to touch the door. Because if she had touched the door, that was when Raven was supposed to strike. It's like, gotcha, bitch, right? It's like a gotcha moment. And she was going to attack, and then Cinder eventually just caught on to them first, which it was just basically it was just who drew faster, and it turned out to be Cinder. And I was very surprised because this is the first time Cinder's using another element. She's not using fire anymore, and I think that's one of her seasonal maiden powers, and I've been saying this since Volume 1. Since Volume 3, but it goes as far back as Volume 1, where I was like, she's had Amber's powers since Volume 1. Why has she only used fire? We saw Amber use wind, fire, ice, lightning. Like, she's the fucking Avatar. And Cinder is only preferred using fire. At first, I was like, well, I can understand early volumes because she didn't have all the maiden powers. And then when she got all of the maiden powers fighting against Pyrrha, she still preferred fire. So maybe then she didn't tap into it yet. And I can understand it waiting, I can understand her, after she healed after the fall of Beacon, getting better, training, being under Salem's treatment, and then kind of adapting to her new powers as a whole. So I was very shocked that she used ice for the first time, because that caught Raven off guard, but as a viewer, that caught me off guard too. I was like, holy shit, she's actually like, she pulled a gotcha on the people that were trying to get her. So she basically double-crossed the double-crossers. And this was kind of like the beginning of like like everyone was like, oh fuck, she's gonna get the maiden powers now. And then this was the beginning of that plot twist shift. I meant to say Salem, not Cinder, sorry. Here's a good question. Say that Ozpin gets what he wants out of Cinder, be defeated. Who's to say that he'll stay? Quote by quote. Wait, good guy mentality, play the god complex. PS, cold up here in Canada, love your videos. I don't really understand what you're saying. He'll say quote for quote, good guys for all we know. So what you're saying is basically Ozpin has like a god complex? No, I feel like he's very close to the gods. I wouldn't be surprised if him and Salem are like the descendants of the gods, essentially. Let's see. Wacky waving inflatable arm flailing Cinder. Wow. Yeah, a lot of people have been making that joke especially as far back as the Knuckle of Grimm. So yeah, they got caught out, which really sucks. To quote Nora, break his legs. I used all of the characters in the text box for the last message. Oh, Raven. Can't say enough. I love your reactions. Thank you very much, man. Overall, everything on YouTube. Many more subs. Thank you very much. I appreciate the support, man. Blassie64. Always a pleasure. Okay, hold on. Let me try to put these together. Okay, so these are like the last bit of moments that we got to see. And so press 1 in the chat if you weren't surprised by the Grimm arm. I think it's been mentioned ever since volume 4 that she's had a Grimm arm. And I'm like, I wasn't surprised by that. I was actually excited to see it more than anything. Because, okay, well, I guess everybody and their mother saw the Grimm arm coming. God damn it. All right, Kim, with the number 8 there. But yeah, I was excited to see I wasn't surprised to see the Grimm arm. I was like, everybody and their mother has called that since like the whole thing with Cinder mentioning, oh, the treatment, and then even a few chapters back, actually last chapter, Ruby's silver eyes was affecting Cinder, and we know it affects Grimm, so people were like, oh, she's got a Grimm arm. It has to be. Like, why else would she react that way, like, in a weakened state? And even for Volume 4, a lot of people were saying, well, she had that Grimm beetle in that glove that absorbed into her skin, had created the tattoo on her back, so maybe that tattoo on her back is a branding of a Grimm. You know, like how the Grimm all have, like, they all have like brandings like on their faces and on like the bone structures that they have, and maybe that is a branding of a Grimm but for a human. You know what I mean? So Cinder could have very well been part Grimm ever since she took the Fall Maiden powers, and it's because of the method in which she took it. She took it via that glove which had that Grimm which fused with her. You know what I mean? Cinder was even nice enough to try and steal the maiden powers until this point. But here's the problem. The problem here is that this could have all been a cakewalk for her had she not agreed to the initial plans of wanting to fight Crow, and she got super cocky. What would have been a lot better is if she had calculated this, but because she's so arrogant, like, she overlooked this more than anything. And I got caught off by it as well. So more than anything, I feel like it's just as much, fair to say, I'm not surprised that Cinder got caught off guard, because Raven is very much, like, if she did the opposite, right? If she froze Vernal and stabbed Raven, then she would have won. She would have won at that point. But obviously they set it up. They set her up for They set her up really well, and she kind of fell right into it. It just sucks because Vernal was the cost, right? I don't, and that's why I mention it here too, because I don't know if Vernal is dead. And even more so, kind of going off on top of that too, what was Cinder trying to do here? Because she freezes Raven, she attacks Vernal. Vernal's like petrified, she's like frozen in state, probably from shock and the weight of how, like, just the attack in general. And then she ends up saying, I will take what is mine. So she's very arrogant about this power. Salem has promised her this power. She feels that it's hers. She feels that she deserves it. And then she's like, I will take what is mine. Or I will take what is mine. And Vernal ends up, she stops struggling. She goes limp. And she's like, wait, where's the power? So one of two things is coming to mind. A, does her Grimm arm work like that Grimm glove, where all she has to do is have contact with a maiden and siphon out their powers? Or did she kill Vernal and was expecting the power to transfer like she did with Amber? Yeah, Cinder has a bad habit of underestimating people. And like even Jaune, she was like, you're just a failure with a death with, and it's like the dude almost cut your freaking face off. So I'm wondering if I think Cinder is too old. No, what do you mean? No, Cinder's a maiden right now. Cinder's the fall maiden right now. She's definitely a maiden. She's definitely young enough. Honestly, I was expecting that arm to be Grimm, since all the signs were pointing to it.
Fall because now she has to attempt to take down one of the most experienced hunters in Rimland.
Yeah, I mean, she's gonna take down somebody. She has to fight someone who she's heard a lot of stories from. And now you fucked up, because not only did you underestimate this person, but you pissed them off too, because you killed someone that they cared about. Someone that she considers family. Someone that's a part of her tribe. And I couldn't get enough of it. I loved the expression on her face. Well, obviously not that expression, but Vernal obviously getting attacked here is a bummer too. But this expression here, where she's like, where's the power? It's like she thought she had it. She thought she had it in the bag, and she didn't even have the patience to wait until the door got touched. Because at that point, she would have called her bluff. But at that point, I think if she had waited too long, things would have turned on her. Like, she had to have expected that they were going to try to pull something, so she shot first, essentially. Really quick, who do you think is going to win the fight? Like, if there is a fight that inevitably is going to go down between the Fall Maiden, Cinder, and the Spring Maiden, Raven, who do you think is going to win? Ooh, someone said a draw. That's a first. Oh, I see a couple draws now. And my chat is now showered with ravens. a few Cinders straggling here and there. What I'm very interested about, right, and this is more fascination, I'm not like judging or saying anything in that regard, but I'm very fascinated by how a lot of people say Raven is gonna win, but we've never seen Raven fight. And it's very much of like, you have, you know, it's very much like Rooster Teeth's kind of thing, which I feel like it's something that they struggle with, and that's the whole telling rather than showing. We're told that Raven's one of the best. We're told that Raven's stronger than Crow. We're told that, you know, Raven's cunning and she's a great leader and she's strong. We're told all these things, but we've never seen it. And I mean, she's the maiden, so I guess that lays, I guess there's some credibility there, because Cinder was very adept in her maiden prowess immediately after getting all of the powers, even though she had some of it to an extent. And but then again, we have Raven, who's been a maiden for a while. I'm not gonna try to figure out when in the timeline that is, or how she got her powers. Did she go and hunt the previous maiden? Did that Spring Maiden join her tribe and then get killed, and the power went to Raven naturally, and she just decided, hey, we need to cover this up? There's too much speculation and conjecture to even even humor the thought of how Raven got her maiden powers, because there's a billion different ways about it. But the thing is, too, Raven is kind of old, and I mean old in the nicest way possible. Like, she has wrinkles, so I would say at the very least she's not a maiden, which means she must have had the power back when she would have qualified to be a maiden, which was probably really young. You know, probably as early as as early as her leaving Yang with Tai after she was born, and after she left and went full on with the tribe and all that stuff. So, you know, those are a lot. I mean, it's just a lot of variables and a lot of things to take away.
We're not here for your money.
I don't think Might Cinder Bay Raven wouldn't have be stabbed by Cinder's arm. She dodged a bullet low. Raven wins all the way, bro. Murder of birds low.
Yeah, the big thing too, right, is that these maiden powers don't go to any plebs. They don't go to any second-rate characters, right? Amber and Vernal, who was staged as a maiden, they're pretty fodder characters, right? They're basically set pieces in this show. And you have Cinder, who's a prominent character. You have Raven, who's a prominent character. I cannot picture if Cinder dies, because so if Cinder, for those of you who are saying Raven's gonna win, who gets the Fall Maiden power? All right, is Raven gonna get it? Is it gonna go to Emerald? Is it gonna go to Salem?
We're not here for your money.
And if Raven dies, who gets the Fall Maiden power? I'm sorry, who gets the Spring Maiden power?
I feel even against Crow she was holding back, so now that someone she cares deeply about was killed right before her, she will be going all out. A one-sided victory in Raven's favor.
I wouldn't say it's one-sided, though, because she's also going up against someone who's a maiden, part human, part Grimm.
Calm
and
down.
who isn't
We're not here for your money.
Who's very good at fighting, too.
I think there is a good chance the fight will be interrupted, and Raven will escape with the relic.
That's another thing, too. Like, the whole reason why they're down there is for whatever's behind that door. And the only one who can open that door is Raven. So either Raven defeats Cinder, opens the door, kills Cinder and opens the door. She defeats Cinder, opens the door, and then Cinder, just attacks, or she gets backup or whatever. Or she uses her Mr. Fantastic arm to reach inside of the vault and take the relic. I can picture something like that happening, but I wouldn't picture her to leave things undone. It would be really stupid in Raven's case, who has this master elaborate plan of setting up this whole thing with the Spring Maiden and falsifying it as Vernal to keep things intact, like being extremely clever as the stories precede her, and then being basically taking a page out of Cinder's book, not dealing with Cinder completely and just going straight for the relic, especially since Vernal died. You know what I mean? It's just you and your tribe now, so it's very hard. Yeah, she has a Mr. Fantastic arm. I know a lot of people say wacky waving arm, but I think of Mr. Fantastic more because it extends back and stuff like that. Do you think Raven knows the previous maiden? Like I said, I think it's a toss-up between either she hunted the maiden down, because you guys got to remember too, Ozpin told her about the maidens. He told her about the maidens, about Salem. He told the entirety of Team Stark, so all of them knew. So Raven could have easily saw that as an opportunity to be like, I need power. I need to hunt down this maiden for this power. But I think it's more along the lines of maybe it lining up with Crow's mention. Like he said, the Spring Maiden made their way to Raven's bandit camp, and I could see it maybe the old maiden died, and the power transferred to Raven, and then at that point it was a matter of
calm down,
covering up and making sure nobody knew.
Hello, Arnold.
Hey,
stream
White
reactions.
Shadow.
I think Raven will win the fight overall and open the doors, but I feel like Cinder will get support and take the relic from Raven, forcing Raven to retreat with Vernal's core through a portal.
Well, the only way that they can leave is Tai Yang. Crow's upstairs, Yang's upstairs, and if Vernal's dead, Vernal doesn't have a portal. Well, Vernal's there. She doesn't have a portal to herself.
Calm down.
So the only way that she can legitimately get out of that entire area completely is to make a portal
and cut off Cinder's
to Tai.
arm.
Man, Raven really needs to pull an Adam and cut off Cinder's Grimm arm. Yeah, there's just a lot. There's a lot that can happen. And you know what? And I'm not gonna sell Raven short. I personally feel like Raven will come out on top, especially because, and here's the big thing too. Here's the big thing of why, not why I think Raven will come out on top, why Raven needs to come out on top. Because, and I was talking to a friend of mine, my friend Anton was talking about this too. And he basically says, if Cinder wins this fight, it basically proves that Cinder can do whatever the fuck she wants with no repercussions and still win, right? Her arrogance wouldn't matter if she gets the power and the relic. The fact that she's going through these ulterior motives of getting RWBY wouldn't matter because she's gonna have her cake and eat it too. And if there's no repercussions for Cinder, it's really gonna show that Cinder can just do whatever the hell she wants. And I don't think that I wouldn't be happy about that. It would really suck because I would say the Fall of Beacon was like a well-oiled machine. Like Cinder was the ringleader of that, but that was like a team effort, a group thing. Now Cinder's getting a little too arrogant. She's kind of taking the reins and doing everything herself. She's, you know, like dismissing some of her accomplices like Watts and stuff like that. And to the point where she tried to go 2v1 with these guys and thought she had it in the bag. And that level of arrogance definitely needs to be punished, and it needs to be reinforced even more if she loses, because then when she goes back to Salem, it's going to be like,
down.
okay, you did this thing. Why did you do this? I told you to do
this. Choice and eyes are a big
this.
theme in this show. Eyes are the window to the soul. You see their true self, which is why Raven and Adam wear masks. You never know their true intentions.
Yeah, I can get behind that too. Well, Adam wears a mask because he's a part of the white. A bunch of white Fang wear masks.
We're not here for your money.
But
So what you're saying is that Cinder would then be like real life people who are in power?
Essentially. I don't know, and it teaches a. I mean, I'm not sitting here saying RWBY's teaching people life lessons in 2018, but like it's like you don't reward people who are that arrogant, who are that cocky, who literally just think like the world is their oyster, that they can do whatever the hell they want and there's no repercussions, especially when you're in power, right? Because that's where it goes off the rails. And Cinder's been flopping a bit, right? She's been very cocky. All she had to do, right? She's getting cocky to the point where she's not doing direct word for word like what Salem wants. And that's why Watts was like, hey, if this flops, it's on you because you wanted to get revenge on a girl, on a child. And that's really going to be, oh man, it's going to be worse than Tyrion. I feel like it's going to be way worse than Tyrion getting a pep talk from Salem because he failed a mission, because Cinder is like in power and she has influence, and she let her head get, I mean, I don't know, she got too big-headed. And I really feel like now more than ever is a chance to kind of show that kind of it'd be kind of good growth even for a villain, right? Who's to say villains can't have growth?
We're not here for your money.
I feel like the relic isn't something that can be simply grabbed. I'm worried that taking the relic will also take the Spring Maiden power away.
Well, I don't really know if that's the true, because Cinder said that you only have to open the door with the Spring Maiden. She was like, you'll open the door, Vernal, and then I'll step inside and take the relic.
Down.
So the relics themselves are not tethered to the maidens. It's just the chambers.
If they ended the volume at 12 where we left off, I would literally have broken my computer.
Jesus. To Kim. Alright, but yeah, I'm just kind of curious on the whole dynamic of things, like how this is gonna, what this is gonna spell for the end of the volume, for the next chapter even, right? Because I feel like this is, I really hope they don't shift. They're like, okay, we have a big fight coming, let's now see what Sun and Blake are up to, or some shit like that. Because it's not the finale, I feel like they can't go all out in that regard. And if they do, this fight either is gonna end start and end in the same chapter, chapter 13 or 14. I don't know. Good things in episode 14. God damn it, Kim. Everyone's hyping it up. It's the penultimate chapter. I'm expecting it to be on the same level of hype and excitement as like chapter 11 of volume 3. You know what I mean? Because a lot of shit happened in that volume too, for better and for worse. You know what I mean? Like a lot of exciting things, like White summoning for the first time, Velvet seeing Velvet's weapon, Yang's arm getting cut off, you know, Cinder getting the Fall Maiden powers. Like I said, for better or for worse, but a lot of crazy shit happened, and I'm expecting it to be on the same level even now. You know, Kiba of Remnant. Oh dear. We still have to see Adam too. Like, he's here. He's nearby. I just don't know if, I don't know. I do not know. All I know is that this next fight is gonna be, like, climactic as hell. It's... I feel like a lot is riding on it. Right, and the fact of the matter, too, is that she's the Spring Maiden, but she's got all of these blades, and she has so much versatility, especially, like, she has all the blades in her like, her weapons case, and we don't even know what those weapons do. We know, like, they're infused with dust and whatnot, but we don't really see everything that Raven has to offer in terms of her combat prowess. We've seen to an extent for Cinder, we know she can, like, create weapons out of, like, glass or whatever the heck that semblance or that power or that ability that she has is. So, I don't know, man. Two maidens. It's gonna be just as crazy as, I think, Cinder versus Ozpin, because it was literally like a maiden versus the wizard. Granted, he didn't have as much magic as he did back then, but it's still on the same caliber of like, holy shit. It's like, and now that we know Ozpin was the previous wizard, you know, he was pretty hype. That was pretty hype. Dr. Kale, I mean, it's hard for me to keep up. I have 3 text fields up right now. I have donation comments, I have the chat feed, and I have super chat comments. And with 1,500 people being in here, it's literally impossible for me to keep up with the chat overall. Like, I can't keep up with 1,300 comments at once. And at least the donation ones actually pop up on screen and they have text-to-speech, so it kind of makes my job a little easier. So, I mean, that's kind of why I somewhat prioritize. Let's see. Alright, let me get through some of these comments, too. We're kind of nearing... We're basically at the tail end of the stream. We kind of gave our predictions of of who's gonna end up winning one of these two in the last 2 chapters. I'm hoping. Alright, let's see. Do you think Crow dies? Oh god, no. If Crow was gonna die, they would have killed him already. They would have killed him in Volume 4 if they wanted him dead. Let's see. If Cinder wins, do you think the Spring Maiden power would transfer over to Vernal to heal? No, I don't think so. If you're dead, you're dead. I don't think there's any healing factor to the Spring Maiden power. It was at that moment that Cinder knew she fucked up. Pretty much. Let's see. Do you think Leo would be a triple agent at this point, knowing about Raven's plans too? No, honestly, I feel like someone should just kill him. I feel like if you're gonna double cross everybody, it's, I mean, what good are you? Like, you're literally just trying to save yourself. Look at my face. Alright, all these donations. Alright, hold off on that, guys. Give me 1 second. I'm trying to catch up on everything. So basically, the general gist of the stream is kind of wrapped up right now. I feel like, I like to think that we covered everything. Ultra Instinct Raven. We can kind of go back and have just a generalized discussion on anything if I skipped or any topics that I didn't mention. But I'm gonna try to go back and look back on donations, look back on super chat comments, actually be a little bit more direct with the actual chat feed, just because by that point it's gonna die down a bit. But a lot of things to look forward to. We have Volume 5 is done next weekend for first members. Next weekend for first members. Where is Dove Bronzewing? Asking all of the important questions right now. But yeah, the Spring Maiden. Oh, and then we have the concept art for Cinder's Grimm arm and the Vault of the Spring Maiden tree. Both pretty awesome concepts. Especially the tree. I really like whoever did that design. That looks great. Do you think the heroes will die? I mean, someone's got to die. Yeah, end of the volume, January 20th for first members, January 27th for the public, like on YouTube and stuff like that. So, a week later. God damn, man. This is a great chapter. This is a great chapter. I'm really... like I said, I've watched this chapter no less... I've watched this chapter no less than, like, 15 times. Easy. Easy. Let's see.
Why didn't Ruby ask about it too? Also, what's your guess on Tyrion's interest in one?
Okay. Give me 1 second. I have to clear out a few things here. Oh my god, guys.
For your money.
I'm dying to see a reaction this Saturday. Reactions go up every Saturday, guys, so at that point, it'll be a lot easier to, you guys will basically just have to wait 2 days. I have to actually edit it. I haven't edited it yet. I'm gonna be editing it tonight. Does anyone else hear people in the background? Yeah, that's my roommate and his girlfriend. That's weak. I've watched it 20 times. Well, that's saying a lot because I watched this chapter more than any other chapter this volume, and it also helps that the chapter was only about 12 minutes, so it was actually a lot easier for me to get through a lot of the it was just a lot easier for me to make it through watching the chapter in rapid succession because it was so short. Alrighty, so really quick, I'm gonna go through any comments and donations that I've missed. I mean, it's only fair. And I tried to make it through doing them as the discussion goes on, but when you reach 1,600 viewers and people are all commenting all at once, it gets a little overwhelming. So I do apologize if some of you guys, sent something and I didn't get to it immediately as it was happening. I just keep rewatching the ending, the ice steam effect. Oh yeah, she like steamed up her own body, and it looked like she kind of had aura going on. Yeah. Did you break the site when it was down? The site went down the morning the chapter came out, but I didn't watch it. I never watch the chapter right when it comes out, just in case stuff like that happens. Excuse me, just so I can avoid it. Thank you for the discussion. Well, first off, I've been streaming for 3.5 hours, so thank you and everybody who's tuned in for the entire time, or if you managed to just join midway, or, you know, if at any point during the night this kind of gave you something exciting or interesting to do for the day or for the evening. I do appreciate it. And Thursdays seem to be the sweet spot for RWBY, so I think I'm going to be doing my discussions for chapter 13 and 14 on Thursday evening as well. And depending on how things go next year for Volume 6, or later this year for Volume 6, Thursdays might be the new definitive days that I do my discussions at this point. Oh, wow, first time in my stream. Well, I really hope you enjoyed at this point, just so you can tune in more in the future. All right, so let's go back and read some comments. Ultimately, the general discussion is done, so I'm going to be dedicating some time, reading some comments and reading some of your posts in the chat, going through super chat and donation comments that were made throughout the stream as well. So for those of you guys who are going to be heading out for the night, you guys all have a great night yourselves. If you guys have work or school tomorrow, be sure to work smarter, not harder. My reaction will be up this weekend, this Saturday. Saturday morning, as it always goes up. Chapter 13 will be out as well. So, and then we just start things all over again for next week. But yeah, so I'm gonna be reading some of these back for the rest of the stream, so I hope you guys enjoy. Let's see. Okay, so Cloaked Onyx says, I find it odd that Ozpin and Oscar didn't mention or say anything about the Silver-Eyed Warriors, but they talked about everything else. Why didn't RWBY ask about it too? Wait, both of them? Ozpin has never mentioned the Silver Eyes to RWBY. The only time the Silver Eyes were ever mentioned was from Crow to RWBY in Volume 3. Also, what is your thoughts on Tyrion's interest in Jaune? I think Tyrion's just a weird dude, and he probably, because when he said that, Jaune gave him a dirty look, and, he was probably just interested in maybe Jaune's potential to fight him, because Tyrion just seems like he's willing to kill anything that moves. So I don't think it was anything super, like anything that really needs to be looked into. Like, a lot of people were looking into that, and I didn't know if it was really all that serious. I gotta head out, Arnold, by the way. Thanks for the Twitter follow. Don't mention it, dude. You have yourself a good night, Swee. I'll talk to you soon. Do you think Raven will mentor RWBY? Raven doesn't give a shit about RWBY. She doesn't give a shit about her own daughter. Why would she care about somebody else's? Let's see. I just imagine Adam seeing Crow go flying through the roof and being like, is that a freaking bird? Why does it smell like liquor? Let's see. I feel like there's another factor. Wait, I feel like there's another factor in play that could affect the battle between Cinder and Raven, and that's Yang, since she's about to go after them, but was stopped by... Well, she wasn't about to go after them. She was going to stop them from going down into the vault, but she wasn't able to. So, I mean, if she can jump that far down into the vault and survive, be my guest. But she also has to fight off Emerald and Mercury along with RWBY, so... I don't really know. I really don't know how. I don't really know if anyone's going to be able to interfere in that fight at the bottom. Like, 3 go down, 1 comes out at this point if Vernal is dead. I think Blake and Sun will come out. I think Blake and Sun will come out like Gandalf the White and flank the enemies. Dude, I wish. I hope. They're a factor too, and we only have 2. Like I said, we only have 2 chapters left, so I'm not entirely sure how that's gonna play out. I feel like the relic isn't something that can be grabbed. Okay, I talked about that. Let's see. Let's see. Do you think Ilya and Blake could be a thing? Too many people are interested in Blake for me to really give a shit who she ends up with. I mean, they even kind of teased maybe Bumblebee being a thing, and then she had, like, Ilya has unrequited love with Blake, and Sun's interested in Blake, and it's like, it's too much for her. I'm glad I caught your stream again, and that your viewer count is growing a lot. Can't wait for the next stream to be on YouTube or on Twitch. Twitch streaming is going to be happening a lot more after RWBY ends, admittedly. I just don't have really much time to kind of focus on gaming right now until RWBY is done. Just because RWBY's just a big priority to the channel and, you know, people enjoying the content. So, after RWBY's done, I'm definitely going to be investing a lot more in streaming, getting back to playing Breath of the Wild and a bunch of other games that are coming out. Nintendo, oh my god, did anyone watch the Nintendo Direct? Like the Nintendo Mini Direct, or the Nintendo Direct Mini that came out today? Dude, I was going ape shit this morning. They announced Dark Souls Remastered for the Switch, and I lost my shit. The World Ends With You? Coming to the Switch. I didn't play that on 3DS. I'm so hyped. I was really, really hyped. Well, that's the thing. Ozpin and Crow. Hold on a second. You guys aren't seeing these comments that are coming up for some reason. Hold on. Let me put these back on. Okay, there you go. You guys should be able to see them now. I don't know why I was doing that. 2 maidens enter, 1 maiden leaves. So no. Wait, Crow and Ozpin talked about Salem, the relics, the maidens, but nothing about the silver-eyed. Oh, yes, that is right. That's right. In Volume 5, when it was everybody in the room. Yeah, so they talked about all of that. The relics, the maidens, Salem, but not silver-eyed warriors. I feel like because those aren't as prevalent, like, RWBY's the only one that we know of, and it's like, what's the point of mentioning that, really? When RWBY herself doesn't really even know what it's all about, you know what I mean? And it's only relevant to RWBY. Whereas this whole maiden grand scheme thing, like, these are all set pieces that are affecting everybody in the world. Silver-eyed warriors don't really affect much. So, and I think that's Ozpin's secret weapon, the Silver Eyes, so he definitely want to keep information like that very close to his chest. Yeah, I don't know why I clearly didn't think about that one at all. Like the fact that he talked to everybody in the room about the maidens at that point. Let's see. I know you guys are still commenting and posting these, but I am trying to... Max volume went down? Oh, no. I'm not gonna post I'm not gonna do the audio of the donations as well, just because when I'm talking, I don't want it to be talking over me. And since it's the end of the stream, I'm just trying to catch up on a few things before I end off the night. All right, give me one moment. This is my first time in the stream too, but I joined late. Oh heck, I'll join again. Ori Random. Well, I hope you're able... Well, these go up again on YouTube. You just got to give it a few hours. By tomorrow, it'll be up, so you can kind of catch up on whatever you missed out on. But yeah, I'm going to be doing these last 2 discussions on Thursday. Hopefully, fingers crossed, around 6 p.m. this time instead of being late like I was today. But thank you for joining. Better late than never. I showed my mom one of your reactions, and she liked it. By the way... Well, that's really cool. I guess some moms really enjoy my videos. I appreciate it. I love seeing your reactions after the episodes. Thank you. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to these last 2. Like I said, my chapter 12 my chapter 12 reaction will be up this weekend. If Raven dies, I hope the Maiden Powers goes to Yang. I can't picture the supposed Spring Maiden and the actual Spring Maiden both being killed in like the same volume by the same person. It's just like it would feel so cheap and just so undeserving of Cinder to get that, especially with how arrogant and cocky she's been. Let's see. Alright, let's see. Depending on the experience of Maiden Powers, Salem might have trained Cinder during Volume 4. Yeah, I believe that. I'm willing to believe that too. But how long has Raven had her powers? Plus, watch Crow sacrifice himself to save her. I don't think so. Yeah, Crow's the only one that could reach her. Because he could just jump all the way down and then turn into a bird last minute. He's the only one that can save her. Or, like, do whatever. And I don't think... Nobody but that's the thing, right? Nobody thinks that there's any betrayals being had down in the vault. Everybody who saw them go is under the impression that they're all on the same team. So Crow has no reason to go down there if they're all buddy-buddy with each other. So, again, I don't think that that's going to happen. Now that I actually broke that down. You think... Okay, I answered that one. Let's see. Chuck Norris always wins. Jeez. Spring Maiden power shift to the last person remembered. Well, yeah, I know that. I was just wondering if, like, it's the last person you think of in your mind. So would Vernal think of Raven as she's getting killed, or she's gonna think of the person killing her? like what happened with Amber. So it's very likely. Alright, those have been covered. Maybe Crow can just get manhandled, just like... Maybe Crow can just get manhandle it like Hazel. Oh, I don't know about that. You think Ruby is a clone of Summer? How? No, I've heard of that theory. That theory's... doesn't hold up in my opinion. It's like certain theories like that, I feel like are theories just to say that they're theories, not really to have any compelling evidence or... I don't know, anything noteworthy worth mentioning, I guess I would say. Alright, let's see. I'm going to try to get through the last bit of these. I already know for a fact I'm not going to be able to get through all of you guys, so I do apologize. Oh dear.
Ozpin has known that Raven is a spring maiden, because he's the one who told her to go into hiding. Just a thought.
I don't know. That's a good thought. I mean, that's... But she, like, despises Ozpin, so... why? I don't think she would ever do that. Like, I don't think she would ever take anything Ozpin says into consideration at this point. Yeah. Alexander Draconis, you have yourself a great night. Thank you for joining. Wow, there's still 700 people in here. Holy shit. Yeah, I've been streaming for almost 4 hours, too. So I'm going to get through the last few comments that we have here for the night. And then I will call it a night myself. Let's see. It would be cool if in the future we could get an episode focusing on Ozpin's most significant forms before and after Ozpin took over their bodies. I kind of want something like that. Like, I really want, like, the first time Ozpin and Salem ever met. If it was she a human beforehand? Is she a Grimm? Like, I just really want to know the first encounters they've ever had with each other. That kind of set everything in motion. I'd really, really, really like to get that. Let's see. Alright, at least it's good. I'm reading through some of these comments, but a lot of these I mentioned and answered mid-stream. So that's the only reason why I'm, like, reading and not saying any of them off right now, because a lot of these I did cover. And there's just so much clutter that, unfortunately, there are going to be some that I missed. But if you did leave a comment, if you did leave a donation, I just want you guys to know I do appreciate the fact. I don't mean to undermine anybody's contributions or anybody's support. It's literally just the fact that, like, I have, like, comments here, like a live chat here. I want everyone to feel noticed. I want everyone to feel acknowledged, and I want everyone to also have a good time with each other in here in the chat. So I do feel like I'm beating my you know, that's why I'm beating myself up about it right now, because I don't want anyone to get that impression. Let's see. Do you think Oscar Ozpin could end up being captured by the baddies? I could picture that. That I could picture. Like, if they don't get Ruby, they get Oscar. And by proxy, Ozpin. That's just really weird, too, because, I mean, Ozpin mentions that his cane has a few more tricks up its sleeve. So I'd find it really odd that he would just allow himself to be captured, even though he hasn't done everything he possibly can to ensure his survival.
Calm down. We're not here for your money.
Hey, James.
I think if Raven gets a relic then in Ozpin's eyes, he would more likely consider that a good thing, since it wouldn't be in the hands of Salem. Yeah, it may suck for it to be in Raven's hands, but at least that's a better chance of possibly getting it back.
That's true. I mean, Ozpin at the very least, like, it's the lesser of two evils. Like, Raven's doing it to protect herself. Raven's not trying to get the relic to destroy mankind. You know what I mean? So, even if it's the lesser of two evils in his eyes, because neither of them like Ozpin to begin with. So, excuse me. Dude, look at your Volume 5 poster and the placement of Raven and Cinder. Now it all makes sense. Well, yeah, but I could say the same thing about the intro. Well, granted, the intro isn't as relevant as the poster is. So, yeah, it's just something that, I mean, we have hindsight now, so now it's a lot easier to point out and notice it because it's already happened. But yeah, just hit him with that Phoenix down. You missed a few donations regarding Hazel. Like I said, I really just can't. I'm like, there's. You hear this? You hear this? Hold on. You hear? Wait, hold on. From here. That's all just this thread right here, and then I have another one where there are more. It's just the nature of the beast. I understand that the amount of people that are here, I'm just not gonna be able to get to everything. And some of these are puns and jokes too, so it's just the fact I just can't get to everything, guys. I try my best every week, though. But like I said, I just hope you guys understand. Let's see. I love Team RWBY so much. Chapter 11 opened my eyes that I could really lose them one day. Any advice if that happens, like how I could deal with it? I mean, it's just how works of fiction are. It's even in life too. It's death is a part of life, and unfortunately some lives are cut short. The thing is, you can't prepare for stuff like that. That's the best advice I can give you. Let's see. No, I don't dab. I think dabbing's hilarious, but no, I don't dab myself. But overall, I kind of don't want this discussion to linger too much, especially for people who are going to be watching this post-broadcast after it's live. So this part right here is kind of just catered to people who are still in the chat. We still have about 700 people. But I think this is where I'm going to end it for the discussion for Chapter 12 overall. Like I said, I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you guys very much for your support, even for people who are still sticking around even now. I really do appreciate it. I will try to be a little bit more mindful of comments in the future. I might have to up the threshold for on-screen comments because they just never stop. And that's not because I'm expecting people to donate at a higher level. It's just because, you know, it's a threshold to allow me to at least be able to get through a discussion without being stopped every 2 seconds and not feeling like I'm missing out on anybody, because I don't want anyone to feel unappreciated or whatnot. Or maybe I'll just get rid of those altogether and just focus on the actual chat feed itself. I think that's probably best at the end of the day. I do appreciate the donations, but in no way, shape, or form am I going to prioritize that over people who are just here to have a good time in chat. So, and we have 2 chapters left, so at the very least, this gives me a lot to look forward to for Volume 6, just so I can make these a lot better for everybody along the way. But, hold on a second. Maybe make a comment break. Well, that's the thing. There's 1,500 people here. There was 1,500 people here. It's like, and I did do that. I did take a few breaks to be like, okay, here's dedicated to comments and get back to it. But there's just too much to keep up with. I mean, if I had somebody to read them off for me and then I can reply accordingly. Because, I mean, Justin tries his best, but even still, there's times where I'm talking over him. So there's only so much the bot can do. But yeah, I'm going to be taking it easy tomorrow, prepping for the next chapter this weekend. My reaction for Chapter 12 will be up on my channel Saturday morning. Hopefully, if there's no block issues with Rooster Teeth's Content ID bot on YouTube, fingers crossed. We have 2 chapters left. Next weekend is the finale. This weekend is Chapter 13. Next weekend, the finale for Chapter 14 for Volume 5. So, I mean, we can only hope. We can only hope that things will turn out for the better. I have no idea what to expect. I'm expecting at least a good, epic, like, maiden versus maiden confrontation. That's, like, the one thing that I can really have expectations for, because everything else, I mean, there's just so much happening, and I don't even know if they're gonna end off, like, if they're gonna tie up everything before the volume ends. So, but yeah, you guys all have a great night. Thank you guys for joining. I really do appreciate it. Enjoy the rest of your night. And I will see you guys in the next discussion next weekend, next Thursday, right here on YouTube. So thanks a lot, and you guys take care.